Another kitty, making my wish come true like a genie. Holding up the glass in the club too steamy. Not a race on show, a black limousine. Some people might think you're sleazy. You're so fine, so you're looking look easy. So much you can make a man green. So don't stop, go ahead and get freaky. You got me wanting to be with you. So sexy, I don't know what to do. Your curves are making my dreams come true. The way you're pushing this just getting naughty, move like a bro, girl, it ain't no hobby. Looking so good, gotta tell somebody. Blows my mind when I see a hot body. Hot body. Makes me wanna fall in love. Makes me wanna fall in love. Don't stop now, just getting naughty. Move like a bro, girl, it ain't no hobby. Looking so good, gotta tell somebody. Blows my mind when I see a hot body. Hot body. Some people might think you're sleazy. You're so fine, but you're making look easy. So much you can make a man green. So don't stop, go ahead and get freaky. You got me wanting to be with you. So sexy, I don't know what to do. Your curves are making my dreams come true. The way you should be taboo. Skin body, move like a bro, girl, it ain't no hobby. Looking so good, gotta tell somebody. Blows my mind when I see a hot body. Hot body. Makes me wanna fall in love. Makes me wanna fall in love. Don't stop now, just getting ready. Move like a girl, girl, it ain't no hobby. Looking so good, gotta tell somebody. Blows my mind when I see a hot body. 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 1, 2, 3 into the 4. Checking out your moves as I walk through the door. Never seen a girl like you any before. Body like a goddess as you move on the floor. You're a soldier, get you ready for war. Got a lot of junk in the trunk, you're hardcore. I don't wanna stop, I want you even more. Cause you got a little something I just can't ignore. So go ahead, girl, take your time. Feel like you need it, girl, let it all shine. Body like an hourglass of the soul shine. And if you wanna kick it, girl, give me a sign. You are so in your mind. You're a masterpiece, the best by design. And if you was a mom, I'd be ready for the climb. And I'll be on the spot anywhere, anytime.
I woke up again at 5 a.m. Can't get you off my mind. Can't figure out who I am if I can't call you mine. These four walls come caving in. I can't get no rest. Outside, breathing in your last cigarette. I would fall you down, baby. Fall you down, down, down. I've been in your bed lately. You really make your way around. You say you lay with me forever, but I'm alone with another round. With another round. I'm just trying to make last call. If I'm too drunk, I can't call. And ask why you left me for someone else. I'm just trying to make last call and get drunk while you fall into love with someone else. I don't know where I've been. I taste like ice. You want when you.
Well, ladies and gents, the sound of the screaming goat means it is time to start this show. God, I'm weird.
Distance nerding.
Hey! Welcome, everybody to Distance Nerding. Not only that, it is time for the bill, ladies and gentlemen. I know it's a little weird to see just my face and see a little sign there or a box that says Layaki. I promise you she's here. There she is. And I think I'm starting the beginning by myself for the moment, but it's fine. Because, I mean, I really just got to go and do these shout outs real quick before I do anything. Because, I mean, as always, you guys already know my level of excitement is usually pretty high. And I'm very excited, again, as usual, for the guest that we have on tonight. So, that all being said, before I get into introducing the guest, I have to talk about the brands and company, I guess the things that keep us going, right? So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this show, this stream, this channel, everything is brought to you by Poddecks. Poddecks are a unique interview question and episode starting prompt in the palm of your hand. So whether you are a new podcaster or an existing broadcaster looking to grow your audience or get more engagement, you're going to want to check out poddecks.com. Now, guys, when you go to poddecks.com and get all of your Poddecky goodness, what you're going to want to do is use the code nerding10. You see that right there, the digital at the bottom, but up there, right there, nerding10. To get 10% off of your purchase. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Poddecks, it's not just for podcasters who are trying to do interviews or get better interviews, but kind of think of it as, if you want to be the life of the party with at your next corporate retreat with like all the fun questions and the icebreakers and all that, Poddecks is good for that. If you want to have just a fun kind of question answer kind of thing at your next party that you go to and you want to be the cool person, then check out Poddecks, guys. And they also have really cool merch, stickers, and a lot of their stuff looks like Supreme, but just says podcaster on it. Like I have a Supreme podcaster shirt and it's pretty awesome. So guys, check out poddecks.com and use the code nerding10 and get 10% off. Now, you may ask, if Poddecks powers the podcast, then what the hell gives Phil all this energy? Because he always has, this just incomprehensible energy, and I can't really comprehend it myself. But I mean, in all reality, it's because Phil is powered by W. Guys, W is an emerging brand of energy drinks created to help focus, concentration, reaction time with no jitters or crash. W contains no maltodextrin, no sugars, no fillers, no artificial colors, no dyes, none of that kind of stuff. Guys, if you want to find out more about W, go to www.w.gg and use the code, again, the same code, nerding10, and you get 10% off your purchase. Now, this has even more. You have the merch and everything there, but then also you have 5 delicious flavors of Dubby. Dubby comes in Dub Sludge, which is a Granny Smith apple, and secret sauce, Galaxy Grenade, which is a I'm trying to go off my memory right now. This one is a watermelon, guava, and lime, which sounds like a weird combination, but is actually really good. And then, of course, my favorite flavor, Dragonade, which is a dragon fruit pink strawberry lemonade. Now, the two newest flavors that they have are also the Passion Joy Tea, which is a passion fruit iced tea, and Beach and Peach, which is a mango white peach cooler. So, guys, check those out. Get those flavors in. They are amazing. And my flavor kind of combination of the day today. Let me get to the screen here. The flavors that I'm doing today, I'm going to do a combination of Beach and Peach and Dragonade. I'm going to get me a dragon fruit peach mango lemonade. And I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that sounds amazing to me. So it's going to be, sure, it'll be completely delicious. I'm going to go ahead and put my two flavors in my mason jar, because if you guys watch the show by now, you know I just put it in a mason jar now. Got my two flavors here. And you guys can see I've got them in there, right there. And then, again, my favorite way to do this, a couple different ways that you can do it, but my favorite way to do this is Soda Stream with some fizzy water. And guys, it's not like drinking, some of the name brand stuff that's out there, or some of the other brands of energy drinks. It doesn't have, it doesn't have any sugar. It doesn't have any kind of like all those crazy preservatives that a lot of these drinks have in them and things like that. It really is. It really does taste really good for something that doesn't. It's not like all the other brands, and I hate to say it like that, but I mean, it's actually really good. I'm gonna go ahead and mix that up right here. Now that this is getting mixed, ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud to bring on the next guest, our guest for this week. She is a costume designer, a cosplayer, a all-around Disnerd. At least I would call her a Disnerd. She's pretty Disney heavy, and we'll get into that story when we get into it, because whole reasons for that. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome on our guest for this week, the great and talented Bethany Deal. How's it going, Bethany?
It's good. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm good. Jack's here now. Yay!
Hi.
We're dealing with an unexpected situation.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard all about that.
So you know the story. We haven't told the viewers and the listeners yet what's going down in the
I
pound.
found a dog on the way to work, and rather than watch it get smushed by traffic, I decided to rescue it and bring it home. And so when I turned 18, my dad always told me, don't go to jail on a Friday. You don't get out till Monday. Well, don't get lost as a pet on a weekend or Monday, because you can't go to jail until Tuesday.
Right. Yeah. Apparently it's such a weird thing for them to say, like, oh yeah, no, hey, we can't take this dog in at all because we're not open today.
Now he's scratching at the door.
Yeah.
I guess they have to have days off too, but it is strange.
Yeah. Guys, if you hear any poltergeists happening, no, it's not a poltergeist. It's not a weird ghost or anything like that. It's the dog.
Yeah. I'll be popping in and out. I don't feel great about locking him up, so I'm going to take him out every 30 minutes or so.
Mm-hmm.
So
just make sure he gets some air, kind of thing. Well, I mean, he's getting air, but you know what I mean.
It could definitely be worse.
Good. So as we're doing all this, I'm going to go ahead and switch the camera here. Oh, look, my angle is very crooked. All right.
What are we working on tonight?
So tonight, I am working on the Death Trooper helmet from the Mandalorian, or I guess it's from Star Wars Expanded Universe in general, but it just became famous on this. So to get into this, Bethany, so we met you through the Hot Jawa, Andrea Miller, and we started having a conversation with you, and it was like, wow, she's super cool. So I have to ask you, so you work as a costume designer, correct?
Correct. I am a freelance costume designer in the local Bay Area. I have my MFA in costume design with a secondary in hair and makeup. So I also do wigs and hair sometimes. It just depends on the show.
Nice. So what got you into that?
It's kind of a weird story, but I was a medical major because my dad is a pharmacist. So I thought that's what I was going to do. And I was really smart in math and science. But I kept taking like a theater class as my elective because it was something I was always interested in. And the real story is I needed half a unit to get my financial aid. And I'm old enough that there was like a hand catalog. So I like open up the catalog and I'm flipping through, and it was like costume lab class. And you could take it from 0.5 to 10 units, depending on how many hours you did. And I was like, oh, this looks cool, but it had a prerequisite. So I had to talk to the instructor and like say, I know I'm not a major, but can I take this class? And she's like, well, can you sew? And now, as I've learned in this industry, if you can sew ever, they're always desperate. So I had taken home ec in junior high because, again, I'm not old. And so she was like, yeah, come on through. And it changed my life. So I found a place where I like fit in, and I picked it up quickly, and it was something I liked, and I could be involved in theater, but I didn't have to audition, which was nice. And tech always works. And she used to tell me that, and it's very true. Like, I went to undergrad and then I went to grad school because that was always the plan. And I haven't stopped working since, except for the global pandemic that imploded my industry. But now that we're back, I've been doing shows almost nonstop. So my first show back was Shrek, which was like, don't do that. It's too big and scary and a lot of work. And so it nearly killed me. And I was like, is this what I want to do? But I really...
The Shrek live show, right?
Yeah, the musical.
Yeah.
But I've had a great time. I've been able to do like High Fidelity in Greece and some really great shows. And I just picked up a gig as originally was just hired for costume maintenance because they're tour costumes that have been through several tours. So they like need lots of love. And then ended up as the wardrobe. So I'm basically like costume coordinator. So I do wardrobe for them. So dressing the show. And then I've done builds and maintaining previous costumes. And that show is called Empire Strips Back. And it's a Star Wars themed burlesque show. So I kind of pinch myself every day because I'm like, am I really, did I just build Lando Calrissian? Oh, yeah, that's what I did today. I built Lando Calrissian today.
Lando Calrissian, but like as a burlesque dancer.
Well, actually, he's our MC. So he's full blown. He's actually, so the way the show is done, he's Lando's nephew. But he, the premise is that Uncle Lando gave him this outfit because Uncle Lando had a lot of capes and he didn't need to have all the capes. So yeah, so he gave.
That's great.
Yeah. RMC Eric is amazing. He's a wonderful local Oakland comedian and he's just fabulous. My fiance and I got to attend the show last night. And he was so generous and did a huge shout out to me. So like the whole audience like cheered for me, which was like, that doesn't ever happen to get like costume recognition because we're the behind the scenes. So it's kind of cool. But yeah, because he's like, he loves his costume. So he's just like, yeah, dude, she's in the house. Like she made this. So
that's pretty cool. Because I mean, I haven't seen anything that like as far as that show goes or anything like that. But I mean, like the stuff that I've seen on your social media is like, like really cool, really good work.
Yeah, I haven't posted anything on Instagram yet. I do have permission from the creator, Russell Beatty, who's a freaking genius. I love working with him. He's from Australia, and this whole show is from Australia, and it was made over 10 years ago. And they literally made it for like a one night show. They're like, we're going to do this one night of Star Wars burlesque and it's going to be fun or whatever. And then it like wildfire, because are we surprised? Like it lit up and like has come to the States a couple times. And they just got picked up again. We're basically like seated in San Francisco until the end of August, but it's probably going to extend into October. And then they're hoping to do Chicago and Montreal. And I'm trying to get on the tour. I'm like, please take me with you. I will travel and do this.
Right.
But yeah. And, Russell really liked my work on Lando. So he's already like, I want a new Vader and I want a new C-3PO. And cause again, a lot of these costumes have like seen better days and been around for a long time, and so they like they need love. And but it's still really fun. I mean, like I legit work with Chewbacca and R2D2, and so it's pretty cool.
So I have a question. So with the with your role in the different cities, do they normally like reach out and try to like find somebody else like that does your job in like a different city, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the producers are always trying to save that extra buck, right? Like they want to make the most money possible, because that's like why producers are there, right? Like they put money in to get the show going, but then they want to profit off of it. And so that's why originally they didn't even have a dresser position, because they were like, oh, but that's money every week that we have to spend. But they're learning that like that's what this show takes, and that's what you need. And so it's cheaper to hire local. So like I've been like a PA on a lot of film gigs, because they don't want to bring the PA with them, because that's extra money that you would have to put them in a hotel and house them. And so it's the same with like the dresser position. They just want to find somebody local. But because I've proven that I'm more than that, and more valuable than that, I think there's a strong possibility I will end up getting asked to do Chicago and Montreal. So.
Oh, that'd be super cool. So like,
yeah,
to go on like a legit tour for that.
Yeah. So, and like, Russell says if the show gets picked up, like he has all these builds, and there's a potential that I might end up going out to their studios too, which are in Australia. Cause he's done like full films. Like he actually did an entire parody on the Christmas show, the Christmas special, a full
special.
Yeah, he did a full burlesque parody on the Christmas special. And it is something else. Like he showed me just one scene, and it's very intimate with Ewoks, and I'll leave it at that. Like I was like, okay.
Does he have like a full on like Boba Fett scene and everything?
Yeah, they literally like minute by minute recreated it and did a parody of it with the burlesque element. And that's really like that's the cool thing about Empire Strips Back and Russell Beatty and like his creation and his baby, is that like he's very he's a big fan. He knows the universe, he knows the IP right really well and detailed, and he cares. So the show, he's very like clear to us. He's like, this is not a Star Wars themed burlesque, which is what I said earlier, which was bad. But this is like, if those characters did burlesque, what would it be like? So there's not glitter, there's not, tassels, there's not like, there's pasties, but like the pasties are what a stormtrooper would wear or what Vader would wear, so it's very like, what would these characters do if they did burlesque? What would Luke do if he was doing burlesque? What would Leia do? And it's all like canon Empire, right? So like it goes through, we start with the Tauntaun and we end with the stormtroopers and Vader. So like and there is a Jabba, and there, like the Jabba scene blows my mind every night, and I'm working on it, like I'm just like, it's nuts, but cool.
Why am I now imagining Vader with pasties on? It's just,
well, Vader does wear pasties, but because it's Vader, she's literally neck to toe in black. But like there's sheer black in some spots, but it's not like she's full, like there's no I don't know how to explain it, but it's really fun, because it's basically keeping within that premise of like, if these characters are burlesque, what would that be like? So it's there's Imperial guards, there's boba, like you get all of it. It's great.
That's a pretty cool concept.
Yeah. And it's like I said, it's not the only thing he does. He also writes Wookiee erotica. So there's like some books out there that you can get. There's calendars. There's like, yeah, there's a lot of property. There's a lot of creative stuff that they've done. And I really love working with this group. They're a real fun group. And the cast and the dancers are all really great. So it's been a lot of fun. But I basically am like taking my two loves, which is costuming and Star Wars, and bringing them together. Even when I interviewed with the producer, David Foster, he was like, oh, okay, so tell me your costume history. And I was like, well, I'm Mama Faye. I was running costume shops before the pandemic. So I ran a costume shop in Walnut Creek for Center Up Theater Company. And then I ran the Academy of Art University's costume shop before the pandemic went down. So I can build, I can design, I do all those things. I said, but I'm also a Star Wars fan. And he was like, oh, okay. And I said, yeah, I actually just got back from Celebration. And he went, oh, you really are a fan. And I was like, yeah. Like, yes.
Yeah, no, I was there.
Yeah. Yeah. I was there, and I cosplayed as Leia, like pretty screen accurate Endor Leia. So yeah.
So did your with like some of that stuff when you were interviewing with them and everything, did the cosplay come into play? Like, did you show them like your costumes and say, hey, yeah, this is some of the stuff that I do for myself?
Funny story, I did not, because David was just kind of like, okay, you sound like a good person, just let me talk to everybody. But Russell, my first day I physically showed up, Russell admitted that he like trolled my Instagram. And I was like, what? And he was like, oh no, I had to make sure that you were good. And I was like, oh, okay. So like he went through, and because I had just gone to Celebration, that was like pretty early in the like photos, and so he was like, yeah, I just wanted to make sure you were good enough. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I passed the test.
Is that this year of Celebration or
yeah, I was at Anaheim. Yeah, you guys were talking about it a couple podcasts ago, but I got the diamond Grogu, but it was a whole story of getting it.
Yeah, no, because everybody that we talked to that was there told us about how like impossible it was to get the diamond Grogu.
It was. And I spent my last morning, I got up really early, and I was nearly in tears because I was 3 people away from getting the last one. Oh, and wow. I was very upset about it, because like, and I shouldn't be, like, I was lucky as far as the lotto goes. Like, I got to be in the Mando panel, and I got to be in the streaming for opening ceremony. So like I got to do really cool things, but that was like the one thing I really, like, as far as a purchase thing, I really wanted was that. And so I was just disappointed. And Star Wars Celebration does like a Facebook group. So like people are posting all the time. They're talking about the swag trading and all that stuff. And I was on the Facebook group. So I like posted after leaving the store, kind of like dejected, and like seeing like some people with like a couple of them. And I was like, okay, well, that's just not fair. I posted saying, I was like, for all of you, those people that like before they were limiting how many and have gone several times because you have the Jedi Master, whatever, like, and you just racked up them to sell them, like, shame on you. Because there are people here who like just want it, like just want the thing, because they like it. And a woman on the Facebook group was like, did you still want it? And like DM me. And she sold it to me for at cost. Like, she's like, I ended up with 2 of them because they just looked fun. Like, she was there like the first day before like it had gotten crazy.
Right.
And so, yeah. So I ended up getting it through this woman who saw my Facebook post. So I guess like whining on Facebook sometimes works.
Definitely.
I mean, there was like, that was one of the issues. And that's why they did that, was because so many people were getting them so they could resell them.
Yep. Yeah. And I think Reed Pop, like, everyone had a lot of complaints about Reed Pop, and like they definitely have things to learn or whatever, but it should have been from day one. They should have been doing that. They know that these things are popular and limited edition, and how limited edition people like go cuckoo crazy for limited edition. So like they should have, like the panels, they should have lottoed it or figured it out from the beginning. Because I guess it was like, it took them like a day and a half before they started to like say, oh, you can only get one. And, but yeah.
That's the weird thing about
Kevin Hogan made a comment and said, limits to how many ? what is this? What is this? A Costco wholesale?
Yeah. You only get one thing of toilet paper, okay?
No, I was gonna say, it's weird when you start meeting vendors and stuff, and you realize that they really don't know. Like it's I don't know how they don't know, but they really don't know that like how popular something's gonna be, And it's like a lot of times,
Yeah.
we know it's gonna be like that thing is gonna sell out instantly. They don't know it's gonna sell out, and they're like, okay, well, here's a limited stock, or we shouldn't sell out. Everything should be fine, and then they when it goes crazy, then they're like, oh shit, we messed up. All right, what do we do?
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah. I just like at this point, it's a Star Wars celebration. Like everything that you do that's limited edition, people are going to go crazy for. So like, yeah, it's we all know the toy history of Star Wars and how collectible and crazy it can get. So, anyway, I'm just glad I have it. And I promised her I wouldn't resell it because that's not what I wanted. I just wanted.
Right.
And honestly, it's my fiance's fault because I didn't own a single pop until I met him.
It's okay. We didn't really own very many until we met James.
Yeah. And now I have like almost 30 Deadpools here, and then some Ghost and Slipknot back here, and some Transformers. I have one that's the child, so it's before he was named. I have the Diamond. I have a Porg. What else do I have? Yeah, there's a few, but yeah.
Yeah. The only pops that I collected before James was Deadpool pops.
Yeah.
Got me some Golden Girls one.
Mhm.
Oh, that's the other ones. He bought me for our first Christmas. I have Schitt's Creek, but I don't have the Chase.
Oh, nice.
And then I have Captain Carter, and I have Carmen Sandiego because I worked with the woman who voiced her for the video games. And so I got it and had her sign it. Yeah.
Nice.
Brenda O'Brien. She's amazing. We did Shrek together. She was the hair and makeup designer, and I was the costume designer. Yeah. So,
cool.
Yeah, while we were working, I was like, well, if I get the pop, will you sign it? She's like, of course. Like, but I'm like of the age, I was like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? But yeah, but we've gotten to a point where there's like no more space. So I just don't even know what to do. Like,
That's where I'm at with Lego right
Yeah.
now. That's where I'm at with Lego right now. I'm just like, where do I put this?
Yeah, we have so many, besides pops, like Disney pins and comics and just all kinds. I have my ears and all kinds of memorabilia. Yeah. Popcorn things, because I've got the Millennium Falcon popcorn from Disney.
Oh,
I have R2, but he's at my office at Empire Strips Back. My friend got me the R2 Sensi. Like, it's ceramic. It's really nice, and it does the candles that melt down, and I didn't even realize it until I turned it on the first time. It actually projects Leia like on the wall. I was like, what?
That's such
so
a
cool
Star Wars nerd thing.
Okay,
I
wait.
know.
Kevin shared something that I'm not personally getting. So he said 30 Deadpools. That's gotten ripped in half 15 times by Juggernaut. Hashtag Marvel math.
That's from Deadpool 2.
Oh, okay. Is that a line from Deadpool 2?
No, Deadpool literally gets ripped in half by Juggernaut in Deadpool 2.
Oh, okay.
And then like that's that whole scene where he's like, his legs are like a toddler, and
yeah,
he's just regenerating back.
Yeah,
it's a very awkward scene for a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
because you have a dude that's basically naked.
Yeah.
With toddler feet, toddler legs.
Sean said that you need to build a shed for Legos, so you need a he shed.
Oh yeah, he needs a Lego shed. A he shed Lego shed. Yeah.
Instead of a she shed.
Instead of a she shed. Yeah.
Make a he shed.
Yeah.
How is the build going?
Pretty
like the
good.
core?
So right here, this is where I'm at right now. So basically what it is I'm building like the base of it. So like this is going to be like the bottom piece of the head, and everything's going to go on top of that.
What are you drinking that out of? That's like a vase or an old pickle jar.
It's whatever you had in the pantry. Kind of how I do it. It's like,
it's an old pickle jar.
There you go. So I'm drinking the drink out of a pickle jar. It doesn't taste like pickles, so I'm not upset. Famously, I do not like pickles.
I like pickles.
A lot of people do.
Yeah.
Philippe's a picky eater.
Yeah. So going on that, and I mean, we started talking, kind of veering into Disney a little bit, but
Yeah.
we need the explanation because I mentioned that you're a Disnerd, but I don't think they realize to what grand level of a Disnerd you are.
Well, I worked in the park for 2 years.
That's what I was going to go for.
I liked Disneyland well before that, and I liked Disney well before that. But to be honest, I also liked Star Wars before that. But where I became the like Star Wars geeky nut and Disney nut is the 2 years I was working in the park. And that's because my first attraction, my opening attraction, as they call it, was Star Tours and old Star Tours. I closed that attraction down. I was supposed to open new tours, but I went out on medical, so that's why I never did it. But I have on my wall, only a few hundred people have it. I have my original Star Tours closing crew badge that they gave all of us, for those of us that closed the old attraction down. And yeah, I was in Tomorrowland. Was, you get landlocked. You can't really go anywhere else unless you fully change lands, and then you have to start your seniority over. But I had tours, and then I trained in Nebo, and then I got space. And then kind of like once you get a mountain, it's like all you do. But I preferenced GSO because I really loved being out on the shows with the guests. So I would do like fan shifts. I would do parades. I was there during the time of Celebrate. That was like the main parade we had. And we still had the Remember fireworks. And then we got like a Dumbo one. It was something Magic, I think was the name of it, for one summer. I was there when Murphy went in, which is the name. I don't know if you guys know, that's the name for Maleficent's dragon that's 20 feet tall and breathes fire. She got that name because I know technicians. The only reason I know the name is because I know technicians who worked on the show. And she got the name because she was if it can go wrong, it will go wrong with her. Her head fell off the day that the
Wow.
was there. Like our press opening, her head just fell off. I had worked one fan shift where she didn't go back down. And so they just kept the sprays up, and it just kept spraying, and they did the rest of the show with like the sprays hiding her in the back because she was just like, I'm just gonna stay here. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hang out. So we fondly call her Murphy. Another insider info is the name of the ghost that used to haunt Space Mountain is Dolores. I don't know how she got that name, but Dolores used to come and haunt us every, Halloween season. And I always kind of liked when we switched over to Ghost Galaxy. They would pad our shifts during that season. So there'd be a lot of like up tasking and stuff. So we could write it sometimes. We would do like a show check just to make sure that all the projections were working. And bringing Dolores in, is why we got Hyperspace Mountain, right? Because they had put those projections in for Ghost Galaxy and they were there. They don't take stuff down. Like if you ever see the inside of Space Mountain with the lights on, like the meteor is still there, but you can't see it because they don't light it anymore because it was messing with the effects. And there's still rock and Space Mountain stuff in there. So like they just, if it's not in the way, they just kind of leave it, right? Like they don't take stuff down. And so I'm sure somebody in Imagineering was like, well, we got these projections and Galaxy's Edge is going to take a while to open up. So what if we did that? Like, how about we do this as a buffer until then? And that's how things happen. Like, that's how you get things like Hyperspace Mountain, or how, Interventions kind of became that like, center where they had Marvel and Star Wars until we could get the lands and where people could kind of go and visit. But I was there like right when all that was kind of, like happening. My 2 years there is when World of Color opened. And so I even did a few World of Color shifts, which just rode Hyperspace Mountain last month. They brought it back. I didn't know that they brought Hyperspace back.
I was gonna say I've never been on Hyperspace Mountain, and that's something that I have wanted to.
Yeah, so once Galaxy's Edge opened, they kind of were like, oh, we don't need it anymore.
Is that the one where it's like the audio is of something of Star Wars?
Yeah, so there's like with projectors
or something.
Yep.
In the ship, but I remember the audio part of it. Sorry.
Yeah, and there's like projections, and there's like blasters going off, and like TIE fighters and X-wings and things like that. So it's like it's kind of the premise is that like you're in the middle of a space fight, right? Like and your rocket's taking you around as you're in the middle of like a space fight. And they just used the projections that they had from when they did Ghost Galaxy. But I lost my train of thoughts on that. But yeah, because it's like, oh, you went on Hyperspace Mountain. I thought that it had gone away. The only thing I haven't done, so there's you choose ride space. You can have ridden original space, which is just normal overlay, right? You can have done Rockin' Space Mountain, which was a overlay with Red Hot Chili Peppers, I believe, song.
Oh wow.
And there was some lighting elements that were added, like chasing lights and stuff like that. You could have ridden it while Dolores haunts it, which is Ghost Galaxy. You can have done Hyperspace Mountain. And if you've worked in the park, you can go with all lights on and all lights off. Those are like the 7 different ways you can ride space. I have done all but Rockin'. And that's because when Rockin' Space Mountain was going on, I was a Sissy La London ride roller coasters. So I never went on it. But I've ridden space with all lights on and I've ridden space with all lights off. And lights off is really cool. Lights on is like cool because you see everything. But like I've also been in that mountain a few times because when it breaks down, you have to huff up all them stairs and it's sweaty and fun. But like, gotta do it. So.
Yeah, because I've heard I've heard with the lights on, like it takes away a lot of like the kind of like excitement of the ride from what I've heard.
Yeah, I mean, and with lights on, yeah, of course, because it's really dusty in there and it's gross and it's not clean. It's not like they go in and like with a feather duster and are like, like cleaning them. Oh, they changed it back on July 4th. Oh man, I'm so sad because I was just in the park and I would have made more of an effort to go on that. Good to know. Thank you, James.
I did Hyperspace Mountain one year. I went to Disneyland 3 times, and I think that's what it when it was up. But I really liked the audio like element to it rather than just the music, but like where you felt like you were like in a battle because it felt like
pew, pew,
more
pew,
you were just like flying through space. I don't know.
You would have really liked Ghost Galaxy.
We've been on that.
Yeah, because it was fun, like with Dolores, like, and I liked the overlay that was on the outside of the mountain too. Like, if you ever were on Concourse, when she was like trying to break in, like I always like really loved that moment. And working it was really fun. The riding it with all lights off is a super special. Like, not even all Space cast members have done it. Because you have to get maintenance to come in and actually turn the star fields off, which is like an extra thing. And I only got it because Halloween, one of the years working Halloween at Space, we had some asshole guests, I'm sorry.
You mean what are they? Oh wait, never mind.
Yeah, there's a nickname for them. I'm trying to remember. What was the nickname for?
It's APs or what we were like. We either called you an annual pass holder, which was when we were being nice, but if we called you an AP, we didn't like you because you were annoying. Because they would like tell us how to do our job. I was like, really? Okay. I think I was trained on this for 6 days and had to pass a really hard test. I'm pretty sure I know how to run this attraction, not you. But we had some guests.
That's what it is.
Pass. Yeah.
I feel like it's not acknowledging me that he heard me.
I did. I'm trying to remember what the other name they said that they were.
It was passhole.
It wasn't
It was pass, like ass pass holders.
No, right. Well, because we would call annual pass holders like as our friends. We would call them pass holes. Because I know Albie used to call himself a pass hole. I know James used to call himself a pass hole. Bird calls herself a pass hole. Okay. So I mean, like, I know that there was something that somebody told us. That was like if you worked in the park, it was like a special name you gave to
that was somebody we were talking to in the park, and they said passhole.
Oh, it was like guests that were difficult.
I don't know, and maybe I never heard the term because I never really came up with one. I do know that I still have a lot of friends that when I worked with Disney are still my friends. And that's because there's a camaraderie because you deal with like the stuff that you deal with. Like I look back on my 2 years there fondly, but at the same time, there was a lot of BS coming from like corporate, coming from managers, coming from guests. Like there was a lot, but we had guests on Halloween night jump the chain. So like midnight happened, the big like, ladies and gentlemen, Disneyland is now closed. You know, like, please make your way to Main Street. The stores will be open for the next hour, right? They do the big like announcement.
Right.
And so our cast member, Yesenia, who was at Greeter, had closed the chain, and like what her job is to follow the guests in until the last guest rides, right? Like that's how you close it out. And I was at group, which is like I group the people into the aisles so that they can get on the rocket. And I could see Yesenia like talking to this family that was like behind her, and she was like trying to explain to them like, no, we've already closed, like these are the last people to go on, like, you know, like and earlier that day, our lead had promised us to do the last ride through. So he was like, you guys did really good working this holiday. Thank you. We'll let you guys do the last ride through before you clock out, right? Like before we close everything down. And they get to me, and like Yesenia is like really nice, but I was always like, I'm not playing these games, you know, like, and I was like, no, like, we're not putting you on. Like the chain was up, the park is closed, you know, like these are the last guests. And they're like, well, we want to speak, you know, we want the Karen, we want to speak to a manager. So my lead came over, and my lead was like, I know, I trust Yesenia, and that chain was up. Like you had to have gone over a chain. And they're like, no, we didn't, blah, blah, blah. We want to speak to somebody else. And so they called a freaking manager. And by the time all of that had happened, the manager let them on because, you know, whatever, even though like 4 of us had said no, like it may, or, you know, I can't do that, but like it made us look like the assholes, right? Because the manager didn't support us. The manager was like, oh, you know, make them happy. And because of all that time that passed, we couldn't do the ride through anymore. Cause it was like, well, we have to be clocked out. You know, they would be like, why were you so late? You know? So my lead felt bad, and he arranged for that team to do a full blackout ride. And so like a week or so later, we got to they turned all the star fields off. Maintenance came in, turned all the star fields off. And my favorite moment was one of my friends, Freddie J, who is like a GSO lead and worked space. He's a black guy, and like sitting next to me, and we are like going up lift A, and he's like, I can't see myself. And I was like, Jay, like, you're being ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was like, it's like pitch black. Like, and so it's really fun because it's like when lights are on, you can see how close and actually technically how far the next, you know, railing is from you, you know, and stuff. And so it's not as scary, but like pitch black, you're like, where is the next thing? You know, like, am I going to hit something, you know? But, and just so you know,
anything going up like the ramp.
Right. Just so you know, I think it's about 6'2", 6'3" and above. Don't put your hands up. Everyone else, you're fine. You ain't gonna touch shit.
Yeah, Felipe and I, when we went to Cancun last month, and we did a tour of a cenote, which is like the underground caves. And when you turn the lights off there, you can't see nothing either.
Yeah, it's
all the way underneath. It's totally
it's so black. It's a really cool experience. Like sometimes when I ride it now, I just close my eyes. And I know every turn of that ride, but like I close my eyes and I just let it. And sometimes I'll like just do it like dead body and just like let it like take me. I'm like, just, you know, just to give it something different.
I'm gonna go give the dog a break. I'll be right back.
Okay. Thank you, James. I'm excited that you tuned in as well. I always tell people I'm like the most fun to go with too, because I just have a lot of silly facts. A lot of the facts I learned while working there. A lot of them I learned from cast members while working there. So like when I go play in the park, I just like word vomit to all of them. Like, do you want to know where the direct center of the park is? I can show you. Do you know about the Lily Bell? Let me tell you all about that. You know, like I know too much, I'm sure.
And see, that's like my favorite kind of thing to do at the park, you know, is like go with somebody who knows their way around the park more so than anyone else. And like learn all these weird facts, you know?
Yep. It's fun. Like, and like, I also can like smash through that park because I know it so well. And it was funny because it ended up being like a conflict. We went at Christmas time, and my fiance like got upset with me because he was like, we're not doing the things I want. And I was like, you gave me my list and we will get there. Just like follow me. I'm telling you, like, I will get you through this park and we'll get more things done in one day than most people do. Because having been an attractions cast member, I could be 5 feet from I could actually more. I could be 15 feet from Indy, and I know it's down. So I'm like, okay, turn around. We're going somewhere else. Like, like I know the signs of like, oh, or the lines or whatever. And I know like looking at a queue, if their switchbacks aren't dropped, like what that's actually going to look like, so I can get you, like, I just can get through and I know what, I mean, we are lucky too, because I have bad feet. So I actually do DOS, which is the disability access. But even then, like, I know how to check out a restaurant and go, okay, no, that's not worth the wait. Or I know the places to sit for fireworks. I know the places to sit for the parades, they have changed some of that stuff. Like I used to really be able to get around post pyro, because that's always when it's like a big cluster F and like everyone's leaving and it's chaos. That's when they used to do, when I worked there, called circular flow. And they've modified the flow. It's now modified circular flow, which I think is better, but it's not the way I learned it. So I'm a little rusty. Like sometimes I'm a little like, wait. But like, I remember when we did circular flow, I've been stuck on that Frontierland planked bridge, like with literally can't move because everyone, you're just frozen,
Right.
But modified circular, I think, is better, because circular flow used to actually go right in front of the castle. So it was like you went around the hub, right? And the hub became like the traffic patterns. And like, it was like, okay, if you want to go here, get off there, because that's what the hub is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like the Champs-Élysées. It's supposed to be, there's, you get your different destinations spoking off of it, right? And the hub, if those of you that don't know, is the Mickey and Walt statue, right? It's a circle, it's in the center, and off of that are the spokes for all of the different lands, right? But I worked in New Year's Eve where people literally lined up and were sitting on the ground for 6 hours to be right in the front for those New Year's Eve fireworks. Mm-hmm. And because circular flow went in front, like right where that sidewalk is with the castle, once the fireworks started, people just stopped. And I was like literally like with another cast member linking arms, like trying to push them, like, you have to keep moving. This is a walkway only. You have to keep moving. And they just, and so I felt bad for those guests that had like stayed all that time. And then now people are being rude and just standing in front of them. Yeah. And so now the modified flow is like through the middle of the hub. So it's like, instead of being right where there's prime viewing, it's, and I think that's better. I think it kind of takes away some of the problems that we had when I was working there.
I've always generally had issues with people who have no sense of awareness.
Oh, my fiance witnessed me losing my, stuff. So my friend who I worked with at Space is now a manager at NOCC, which is New Orleans Critter Country. And so he's got like great hookups, and he gave us premium seating for fan. Like, we didn't have to stand. We didn't have to show up until right before the show. It's a little spot called the Wedge. And we show up and we sit down, and I've got my legs kicked out and I'm like relaxed. And this couple comes and tries to sit right in front of us. And I was like, oh no, like, that's not how this works. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't get to come after and then sit in front of us. Like, right. Especially because that seating isn't like supposed to be all crammed. It's much more opened up, because it could probably fit 30 people, but they put 10 or 15 in there, like, because it's VIP. It's not VIP, because the VIP actually has seats, but it's like premium seating. So yeah, I was like, no. And my whole thing is like, how dare you? Just like these people at New Year's, like, you really think it's fair that like we've been sitting here and then you get to just walk up, but people don't, like, they're just like, they don't care. They don't look. They don't watch. You know.
Some people don't care about fairness. They care about
I want the best view. Yeah,
exactly. They only care about what their experience is, and they don't give a two shits about anybody else's experience.
Yep. No, I've witnessed it. I've had really great magical moments with families, and then I've also witnessed incredibly terrible experiences. Right. I have a funny proposal story. So I was working front of castle. I always was okay working front of castle as a Star Tours cast member. It felt weird because I was in a bright orange jumpsuit. But I hated back of castle because I was like in Fantasyland in a bright orange jumpsuit. And I was like, this is weird. But I was good at being at GSO. And so the leads liked me. And so I used to get prime picking which front of castle is like the easiest part of that whole thing. And so my lead got asked by this guy, like, I want to propose to my fiance after the fireworks show. And we're like, oh, so I love, or propose to my girlfriend. And we were all excited to be a part of this proposal. And like, we knew who it was and everything. And this woman was being heinous, like so mean and yelling at him and like, I'm just gonna leave, and like just like cursing. And we were like, oh my God.
And this was a guest.
This guest, this lady, she was trash. She was total trash. And he still did it, but I was just like, wow. Like
she was just pissed because like everything was being held up, or
I don't know. The kids were annoying her. She just was like, I don't know. I think she just wasn't a very respectful individual just in general. But yeah, it was weird. How do I get to be driven around by that fire truck and small truck? Oh, the fire truck, they're just, the thing about the main street vehicles is they're only out in the morning because the crowds get too busy and too impacted that they can't drive around. So the double decker, the fire truck, the horse-drawn carriage, I think that's all. I can't remember, but all of those main street vehicles, they're like done by like 11. Like they're, yeah. And so, and you don't have to, like, all you have to do is there's like little when you first come in, there's little signs that are like the fire truck, stops here, and the double decker stops here. And you can ask any cast member that works in that area, they're going to know. They're like, oh, the fire truck, stops over this way or whatever. And you just get on. There's no like, the only thing that's like, the Lily Bell is the only like exclusive thing. And unfortunately, due to, Instagram, social media people, giving away the park secrets, now we can't use it because it got overwhelming for the cast members, and so they had to shut it down. Mm-hmm. So when I worked in the park, if you just asked nicely and it was on the track, you could go on the Lily Bell. And now, because people kept doing those like 10 top secrets of Disneyland that you didn't know, like everybody was asking all the time, it got impacted, and they don't do it anymore. It's kind of sad. I guess ruin everything.
Steve Jordan had a question. It says, did they ever recycle their gear for other rides or other scenes? He asked it earlier, too, when we were talking about Space Mountain.
That's a good question. I didn't work with maintenance as much. I guess yes is the answer. And the one that I know about for sure is because it was my attraction is Star Tours. So I don't know if you guys know this, but I feel like people who are like super Star Tours nerds would know that the like robot that's talking to you as you're coming in, the one who's like, he's got the screens and blah, blah, blah. He was in the original attraction as well. I cannot remember his name. But he's got the guy who's Kronk's voice now. I can't think of his name either. I'm blanking. But he is actually a duck. And he was a duck in America Sings. And so when they took that apart, they were like, oh, the skeleton the skeleton robot that was the animatronic, right? Like, looks kind of cool. But that's why if you look at his feet, they're webbed. So, oh, wow. And there are at least one, but I think two R-series droids in the attraction that are original on-screen droids. So and I've been able to go down in that area and see them. I think there's like an R5, like the red one. I think it's R5. I can't remember, but yeah. And I think there's one original Rex in the attraction now. I miss Rex. He was my pilot, not C-3PO. But and then I'm sure Lucas kept one of the Rexes, and then as you guys all know, DJ Rex in Galaxy's Edge is one of the Rexes from Star Tours.
So I still haven't been to Galaxy's Edge, but Rex was also my pilot.
Yeah.
Like when we first went, like I like the new Star Tours, but the one thing that I was just like, oh, well, C-3PO's flying it now, like.
Yeah,
Rex, because
I know, and I used to love in the Remember Fireworks. My favorite part was when I got to Rex because he was like, "It's still my first flight, and I'm still getting used to my programming." Like I just like
I felt he had really good comedic timing.
Yeah, my mom also thinks it's ironic that Star Tours was my first attraction because when she took me on it when I was like 4, I got off the ride and I was like, "What are you trying to do? Kill me?" And so like the fact that was my first ride was like great. And then one of my teachers in undergrad actually was a Disney Imagineer for Disneyland Paris, and he worked tours. So like in undergrad, in a writing for theater class, R5D4, thank you. And it was R5. I just couldn't remember the rest. We're in this writing for theater class, and one day he's like, shh, don't tell anyone I have this because I'll go to Disney jail. And he just puts on the projection screen original Star Tours footage. And like some of us in the class were like pretending along, like when you get to the Starfield and the and everything. Yeah, it was. Yeah, he was really fun. I loved Craig. But yeah, good times. Good times. What are other weird fun facts?
I have a question. When you were working doing Star Tours, and that was your ride and everything before you were doing the costume design, correct? Did you have
same time, but yeah, I was like still in school for it. Yeah.
Did you have any like cool ideas for any like characters that you could share with us?
When I got into grad school, it was right after leaving Disney. I one time with a group of people almost participated, and they have like an Imagineering competition where if you're a student, you can be in a group and like create, IP or whatever. And like the thing is if you win, Disney keeps your IP. And we were gonna do a winter resort, and I designed costumes for a Merida or what's the movie? Sorry,
Brave.
A Brave restaurant. And then we were gonna do like Goofy's ski school way before Goofy's Sky School came out. Like we had already kind of like thought about doing a Goofy, but yeah. And then our group just never could get it all together, and we never submitted it, but I have them somewhere. Like, and I even had like name badges on them because like I worked there. I always said that like I'd be the perfect person to do cast costuming, like design the cast costumes. Because up until Galaxy's Edge, and the fact that a lot of the cast members are still wearing the crap that they're wearing is ridiculous. But like Galaxy's Edge is the first time where they like thought about heat, thought about cold, thought about layers, thought about they're wearing like sweat wicking stuff now, and like like the fabrics are more comfortable and all this. But like as a space cast member and Nemo, we just had ugly pleated blue pants and the space shirt. Oh my god, the space shirt. Okay, I don't know who got this approved or why this is what it is, but it buttons like this. So it buttons at an angle going down, right? Because that looks cool and spacey. It is a woven fabric, so no give. Okay. It is unisex, so it's for both sexes, and there are 0 darts. 0 darts. Do you know what women have that need darts? You have to cover a curve, right? Like 0 darts. So either you wore it and it was like uniboob and it smushed you down and there was just like that but then it fit your waist and your shoulders, or you had to wear like I'm wearing my boyfriend's shirt and it's 4 sizes too big, but it actually fits around my chest. Those were our options. That was it. It was one or the other. There was no in between. So yeah, I was always like, they don't have people who actually have been in the trenches and had to do these rides, designing this stuff. Like it's very, and like, I also feel like the person who designed the new tourist costume was a Star Trek fan, because I did not feel like they were like Galaxy's Edge is like hit the mark, but I don't feel the new tourist costumes did. They felt very Star Trek to me, but maybe that's because I'm crazy. I don't know. Sounds like Kurt, Space Force dress uniform top. Space Force. Oh, really? I have not looked at that, but it was terrible. Also, don't take me to Disney jail, but I have my Star Tours costume.
The original one, the orange one?
Your secret.
I have my orange jumpsuit.
Your secret is safe with us.
My friend works in entertainment costuming. And so this was pre-RFID, so now everything's RFID, and you can't take anything. They scan it, they know you have it, you walk through a thing, right? When I worked there, it was barcode, so they like ding, ding, ding. And so I was in the pre-RFID era, and she had access to my account and could just check things back in. And so it just got checked back in. I have it. And it happened because she didn't have access to check out certain costumes, like because you only are like if you're tours in Space and Nemo, that's what I had access to. Or when I got a World of Color shift, like it expanded and I could add World of Color, you know, like or when I got a fan shift back in my day, we had the big Bumblebee jackets. Those were amazing. They had a huge, cool patch on the back that was or embroidery of Phantasmic on the back, but we called ourselves Bumblebees because they were just yellow, like, and we wore black pants. But she wanted the pea coat that attractions and stores can wear that says Disneyland on it. But she couldn't check it out because it wasn't on hers. So she was like, if you check one out for me, I'll take it off. And then I was like, wait, then can I get something? And when tours was closing, like cast members were like trying to rip the patch off and like, because they just incinerate it. It all just gets incinerated. It burns and it goes away. They keep a couple for posterity and history and stuff like that, but then the rest just gets incinerated. My friend who worked in entertainment was like, it's sad because she was like incinerating Belle dresses and stuff because it was like, oh, if it got a snag, they just burn the thing.
Right, because they don't want those to get out in the wild.
Yeah, because it's their intellectual property. It's their IP. Like, I get it, but it's also like wasted fabric and stuff. But I also have one of Ariel's, like the shell necklace, but this is generation from when I was in the park. So they've since updated the princesses. So it's not what she wears now. But they literally were going to incinerate it because the clasp in the back broke, the lobster. And I was like, it's 2 pliers. And I was like, it's so easy to put a new lobster claw on. Oh, fashion show. Tours stays in like a locked, it's like at my storage, but I have the necklace I could show. I'll go grab it. But, I wore it. I dressed up as Land Ariel, like a cosplay Land Ariel I went to the Halloween party a few years ago. And I wore that and I went and I took pictures with Ariel and she looked at me and she was like, nice necklace. And I knew she was like, I know that necklace. I've worn it. Like she was like, I know where you got that. That's doing it like in character.
That's the one, the picture of you as Ariel and your fiance is Eric, right?
That's the same costume, but that's not that trip. But I'll go get the necklace really fast.
Use all of it.
I used all of it.
Oh man, I'm gonna go get something to drink.
Okay. Here's the bottle.
No, I was just.
I'm saying if you wanted some.
Okay, so this is the park necklace.
Hold on.
It's really pretty, actually. But yeah, they were gonna like trash it because the lobster claw broke off. And I was like, that's such an easy like replacement. And I, being a costume person, I was like, okay, just 2 pairs of pliers and buy a new lobster claw and I'm in. But yeah, I don't have do I have any of my cosplays here? No, I just have my saber. I literally pay $400 a month in storage because I have a lot of costumes because I do this for a living. So everything stays in storage for the most part. Like what I have right now here is like, I'm doing a children's show called, Elephant and Piggy do a play. It's from a children's series of books called Elephant and Piggy. And then, so I have fittings on next week. So I have a top hat because I have to buy a top hat because that's just what I do.
And see, like I've recently got into more cosplay, and I've been doing more cosplay at shows and whatnot. Mostly mine is, mostly Deadpool. So,
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I was thinking it would be fun for our engagement photos to throw a couple like geeky ones in there just to have for posterity's sake.
Okay.
And he doesn't have the good replica one like you do. And I was like, can I borrow it?
So I don't really have a good replica one. Mask that I have it looks good on picture.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a really cheap, really crappy mask.
Okay. Well, or do you have to like link? Because if it's cheap, I can just get one. But
I was gonna say next week, I finally bought a replica movie accurate replica mask to start wearing.
Ooh.
So maybe we can talk about that. If not, I mean, he can. Once I get that mask, he can have my my old one if he wants it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because there was one photo I found and it's in my Pinterest and it's like, this would be like day of though, but I don't know if we're going to do that. But it's like her in the bride's dress. And then it's like, he just has the mask in the hands and he's in the like the suit, and he's like holding her. But I just thought it'd be fun because I'm probably going to do like some stuff with my saber or something. And so I just thought it'd be fun to do something with Deadpool. We're definitely having a geek wedding. Because reasons.
Ours is a hybrid.
Hybrid, yeah. I'm calling it geek chic because I'm trying not to like let that overwhelm everything.
Yeah.
But
to look like a 6-year-old's birthday party.
Yes, thank you. Yes, exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So as much as I love all of it, I'm trying to like still make it look like fancy and pretty.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be fun.
So we opted for subtle Star Wars in our wedding and like subtle other things. So like the way that she has that she's ordered and gotten things done.
What I wanted to do was like I was trying to make everything cheap, and I was trying to make everything, if I did cheap, it would look cute. So I went with vintage picnic.
Oh, okay.
Which I really like vintage stuff. So that was not like a far cry for me.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you saw some of this stuff, but like I love pinup. And so like I've done pinup Han, I've done pinup indie, I've done, like, so a lot of times with my cosplays, I'll like mash pinup with it. But yeah, totally. I get it.
I really like pinup. I've tried to like do my hair like that way, but my hair like does not curl and it's always pretty long.
Do a wig.
Yeah, it could do that too. But yeah, so so that's why I picked like the vintage picnic, and then I knew it was important for Philippe to have like, his first we were like, okay, we could do like Marvel, but then I ended up doing Star Wars because Star Wars like on its own is already kind of like, I don't want to say Art Deco, but like the font, a lot of the font and stuff is kind of Art Deco-ish, and that's kind of like the look I was going for.
Well, there's a whole series. Have you seen them of Art Deco posters that are Star Wars? They're gorgeous.
Yeah, no, I think I accidentally downloaded one when I was looking for a template. So I do have the New Hope Art Deco template that I could have printed if I wanted. I accidentally paid like $3 and downloaded it because I thought it was editable. But it wasn't. But anyway, so then I bought another one that was, and I got what I needed. But yeah, so then I was like, well, if we just do like vintage picnic, and then we do the flowers specifically are like, I specifically told the florist that I wanted them to look like otherworldly.
Oh, okay.
Funky shapes and stuff like that. Things you would probably find on a different planet.
I like that. Yeah.
And then the cocktail hour is kind of where I let it like kind of explode a little bit. So like we're gonna do like the weeds as the centerpieces because we have those.
Oh, okay.
And then even on the tables, we have like little like figurines that we're probably aren't gonna have enough because that was back when I thought I was only gonna have 8 tables. Well, I'm past that now.
It happens.
Yeah.
My family, like, and Jeff's first cousin was 70, and I was like, like, so we're at 25 tables easily. Like we're at almost 200 because it's just. I was like, I have to be able to invite friends too. So yeah, it's crazy, but we're gonna make it work. But yeah, I get it. I totally get it, and I'm having fun with it. Like so, our thing has always been. We're like the weird curvy edges of the puzzle piece, and we just fit together, right? And we've done hashtag curvy edges like on a lot of our couples photos. Our wedding is going to be hashtag curvy edges 2023 or 23. So like the way that I'm bringing the geek into the centerpieces, because that's where I'm trying to keep it as like fancy as possible. Like is I'm buying all these puzzles. And I'm making sure they're like Star Wars or Deadpool or Disney. Our properties are like Transformers, Disney, Star Wars, Deadpool, Marvel. Like we have quite a few that we both love a lot. And then I'm going to glitter spray them black on the back. So it's not like the cardboard puzzle piece. And then those are just going to be like scattered with vases and, pretty like, but that's kind of like the thing that will be on the table. And then we figured out what our favor is going to be. Because I thought it'd be cute if there was like a table that was like, thanks for popping by and have like a few of the pops on it. And then I was like, we kind of were like all spitballing and we came up with, that's what our favor is going to be. Not full pops, but like little mini pops. and we're putting, it's kind of like a interaction thing. We're putting collect, trade, or gift. So it's like you can collect it if you are into this. If you're not into it, trade it or gift it or whatever, but then it kind of like allow, if they're like, oh, I don't like that one, but can I have yours? Like they can trade and stuff. So
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
For our favors, we're having a this is Star Wars related. I'm not just like throwing random things out there. So we got a photo booth, and that's people's favors. So like they can take as many photos as they want, and they print out on a strip. So the guy, and I didn't know this, I posted something on Instagram that I was looking for something, and some random company messaged me back, and they're like, we can help you with this. And I was like, okay. So I started talking to the guy. I guess the guy was like one of the architects for Luke Skywalker Ranch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like back in the day, I guess I guess he has like this photo business like on the side. So he designed the photo strip. It is in like a Star Wars font, and on the bottom of it says "Congratulations" in Mandalorian.
Oh, that's so cool. So it's like airbrush for
yeah.
And then okay, that's really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's super cool. And he like designed it and everything. And he was like, oh yeah, fun fact, I was one of the architects at like.
That's amazing. Yeah. Like the other thing we're doing, and we just went to a toy show the other day and ran into Rob and Tiffany, who were also at the May the 4th event, is I found on Pinterest, like for the boutonnieres, it's like a rose, but the petals are comic book pages.
Yeah, I've seen those.
So I'm starting to gather like, again, the properties that are within what we want, but he also wants some WWE ones. So I actually might have to just print some because it's a little bit harder to like get the WWE stuff. Like we were trying to look for WWE mini pops, and they're like $10 a pop. I was like, oh no, we're paying like $2 max. Like, so I don't even know if we're going to get the WWE minis because they're so expensive.
So Scott, side note, because I don't want to get too crazy about this, but is your fiance happy or sad that Vince retired?
Oh, I mean, I can ask. Can I bring him in?
Yeah, do it.
Yeah. He's a huge fan.
Oh, so are we. Okay, so
we're watching it right now.
We went off on a accidental tangent the other day. I think she's not.
Like, we went to the Fiend and Alexa for Halloween.
Oh, nice. We ended up on last week's download, which is our Wednesday show. We went on an accidental 30.
I listened to that one. I was gonna tell him he should listen to it because you guys were like, no this, no that. I was like, whoa, they're like that's serious.
Yeah, James likes to play devil's advocate, so he will try every time to get me riled up.
James says he loves you because you're a wrestling guy. So, you want to ask the question again?
Yeah, dude. So which camp are you in? Are you happy or are you sad? Which 90% of the fans are happy that Vince retired.
Happy, very, very happy.
Oh yeah. Did you hear the news today that they just announced?
About Triple H?
Triple H taking over creative?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So you're happy like we are, right?
I am very, very happy. It's been long, long overdue.
Yeah, dude. Triple H, Trips, has needed to take over creative for so long.
And what he did with NXT before Vince turned it into 2.0 was amazing. Like, that was great.
Oh no, Vince, every idea he has is old and trash. And it's like, we need to get rid of Vince. He's gone now. And I'm like, okay, like when we had the news that like, okay, Vince might be retiring, I'm like, I hope Stephanie takes over. And then they talk about Stephanie taking over. I'm like, oh, thank you, God. And then the icing on the cake is Triple H is taking over from Bruce Pritchard. And I'm like, oh my God, we need this. Like we're actually going to get WWE the way that we need it to be.
Exactly.
And then Vince was too old to run. Real honestly, they looked. We went okay. So please don't be mad, but I like only knew what WWE was before I met him, and that was like the extent of my understanding and knowledge of it.
I'm trying.
And then now I like can talk about wrestlers, and it's weird to me that I'm like, what are these words that are coming out of my mouth? But my first live match was WrestleMania, and we were on floor seats.
Nice.
So hard camera. So I was on camera. So I'm 1,000% spoiled, like already. Like
My first live event was a complete disappointment. And it was the Hell in a Cell with Bray Wyatt and
That was your first live event?
that was my first WWE.
Oh my
live
God,
event.
wait, the one where he like went through the thing like into the
Seth Rollins, yeah, that
Seth Rollins, where
okay.
it ended in like a DQ or something.
yeah,
I
A
used
Hell
to
in
go
a Cell match. Yeah,
so bad. That was like the worst Hell in a Cell. Like there was only
it was
one
very
Hell
bad.
in a Cell match, and it was that match, and it wasn't even a good match.
I used to be a super wrestling nerd, like back in the Attitude Era, and I used to go to live events then. And so it shocks me that I'm just finding out that Philippe never went to a show then.
And
I
a
used
huge
to go
fan
to
at that.
shows then.
Taking it back to the wedding, his one request was that the tables are named after factions, and so that's what's happening.
That's dope. Okay,
After
so
what?
our tables they're named after factions.
What was that?
So like Degeneration X and
Okay.
you know
I
stuff like
didn't know
that.
that. I didn't know the term. I
Yeah.
know we are. I
So
didn't know the term.
my thinking, because I never wanted to do like individual. It's just too annoying and
We're
too
not
much.
doing. We're not.
Yeah.
Doing it either.
So my thinking is that I have like a couple ideas of how we're going to inform them of what that, but like on the table though, I'm going to have the logo of the faction so that they can find it, but they have to also figure out that they're at that table. So I have like one idea that I haven't swung by him, but we have this really cool poster that my friend did. He's an amazing graphic artist, and it's me as Harley Quinn and him as Deadpool. And I thought it'd be fun if it was like big puzzle pieces covering it, and like you grab the puzzle piece with your name on it, on the back is the faction, and that's how they figure it out. But I haven't quite gotten there yet.
So my idea, so I'm doing a similar thing, but I'm really into like golden age. I'm a super like golden age of Hollywood. I love like old movies and actors and stuff like that. So on like our main reception tables, we're going to be doing like we're going to name them Golden Age of Hollywood, but not a lot of people are going to know like who these people are. So my idea is I'm going to do like a picture, like a big picture of them, and then like a little synopsis of like what movies they were in.
Oh, like trivia.
But then and this is just a kind of a stupid suggestion. I sort of am still doing numbers because some people like that's just easier for them. So every table is going to have a number for the people that need a number, and then also like a name for it for people that appreciate the tables being named. So
that's smart. I might have to.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, that's really smart.
That could be a NC or something.
Oh my gosh, so good. But yeah, I was like, well, I'm going to need the name of these factions because I want to make sure I get the right logo and I print it up and everything. But yeah, I mean, we're slowly like bringing things together, even though it's a little over a little under a year
it's
out.
11 months today.
Oh,
it's 11 months today.
Yeah, I remember 10 months ago when we were running around looking. Well, we only looked at like 3 places because I knew where I wanted to get married. I just had to figure out like what place, like in the place that I wanted to get married. And I was just the whole time, like we finally found the place that I wanted to do it at. And it was like, okay, well, we're going to do it in August. And this was literally October of last year. And I was like, this is not 10 months.
Yeah.
And so, but I mean, it's next month now. It's so funny. We woke up July 1st and I said, Philippe, we're getting married next month. Like it's not
crazy.
Not
I feel like that's gonna happen to us. We're gonna blink and then it's like gonna be next. Yeah,
it's so great that you're doing this stuff now because my biggest advice, if you've never been through like a wedding or anything like that, is everybody is going to tell you to do what you want, and you should 100% do that. But sometimes you're not going to know what you want, but you will know it when you see it.
Yeah,
because that's been my biggest thing. Is I didn't know what I want. It sounds like you're very sure on what you want, and that's great.
I think it just comes I really think it comes from being a creative person and being a designer. Like that's what I do, right? And so like and we're really lucky. Like he's a chef, and I work in the theater industry. So like our industries are hooking us up, right? Because like we're having it at his country club, and they're giving us like his employee discount, like an employee discount on it. So like we're getting like a princess wedding for not what a princess wedding should cost, right? Like. Yeah. It should be 100 a head, and we're paying like 65, and that's with full bar. Like that's at food, the ceremony, and reception. So it's crazy. And then like I have friends who are photographers. I have friends, like so we're we're using all of the like connections and things that we can to make it affordable. But I've also been a stage manager, so like I've managed shows. Like I just like I don't mess around. We have to have the details. We got to figure it out, like, and plus like wedding people book out like a year in advance. So it's like, we have to tell these people.
2022, I guess my sister's mom read an article where she said this is like the biggest, like the busiest wedding season since like sometime in the last 40 years because of COVID. So
yeah,
COVID,
I believe it.
Now, like once everything like kind of opened back up, like everybody wants to get married. So we barely got in just like under the wire to be able to still get married in 2022.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. It's tough, man. We have to go get our license too. My dad keeps telling us. So my dad's a pastor. That's the other thing. So like we have an officiant. Like we're like it's all like we just are really lucky in that way.
Yeah, we went and got our. I was having nightmares about like the day coming, the wedding happening, us being at the wedding at the altar, and me going, "Crap, I forgot to get the license." Like not that we forgot it, like we just forgot to go get it.
How long did that process take?
15 minutes.
Oh,
so depending on the count. Well, we went to Sacramento County just because that's where we live. Because I was like, wait, do we want to go to San Francisco and get it because like he's from San Francisco, or do we want to do it in Contra Costa County because that's where I'm from? And then I was like, you know what, because I did not want to get married in Sacramento. I was like, I want to get married in the Bay Area, and I knew where I wanted to get married at, or I eventually figured it out. I didn't know originally, but I just kind of asked myself, like, okay, Jackie, if you can get married anywhere, where would you want to get married? And it came to me. So but anyway, so then we ended up just going to Sacramento. We made an appointment, the first appointment of the day. I think I made it like 3 weeks out. And
okay. So it takes several weeks to get that appointment.
Well, I think I might have been able to do it sooner, but I'm really weird when it comes to PTO. I'm old school where I'm like, oh, I have to give 2 weeks notice. Like, for
okay.
PTO. So, I mean, I think as long as you have an appointment and you do it pretty early, it probably took 15 minutes. They just, and then if you fill the application out online, there were people that showed up, like they had no information and they were just like, oh, we're just here to get married. And they had no information. And so if you fill it out online, they have you take an oath and promise that you're not married to other people, and that you're not related. And and then they just verify all the information. And then they it's really, the form is really particular, at least in Sacramento County, that when they give it to you, if you mess up on the form or you like spill something on it, you have to buy a brand new one.
That makes sense. I mean, it's a legal document, so yeah,
it has to be perfect. Yeah. So I have ours in an area where like nothing's gonna happen to it, but I would
like sealed tight, like
yeah. So as long, and then they give you like a bunch of like resources, like I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to spark any other conversations, but they give you a lot of other like weird, I think they're weird resources to give people, but yeah. And then I would say it was like, I don't know, maybe it was like 30 minutes like waiting because we got there right when it opened, so it was probably 30 minutes. I think I was to work by like 9 o'clock, and I don't work too far from downtown, but
nice. That's awesome.
It was a pleasant experience.
I feel like Sacramento's where I went when Jen and Brandon got married, because I went with my sister. I don't remember why. I think it was just to hang out. It wasn't like I had to be, because the witnesses don't have to be there for that part.
No. Yeah. And actually, as long as it's, I think as long as it's, because then there's public and a confidential and a marriage license. And I think a confidential does not need witnesses, but if you're getting married at like a country club, then you could just do a public one.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know which one. I don't know. I can't make a decision. So Philippe had to look at it. He's like, I think we just need a public one. I'm like, okay.
It's like, yeah, I'm sure there's some weird legal, whatever, money reasons why there's a private one or a confidential one. Yeah.
So James made a comment and said, whoever gets the Spirit Squad table will know they barely made the cut to get into the wedding.
Are you guys going to have a Spirit Squad table?
I did not think about Spirit Squad.
Spirit Squad is like all your cousins that you don't like but are there.
Yeah, right.
No, but you know what? For is it Bloodline, right? That's like
that's the current one, yeah.
Yeah.
It should be my Samoan cousin.
There you
he
go.
could be at the bloodline table.
And then he can say that he's the head of the table.
Yeah,
There you go.
exactly. Yeah, it's got to be Mika and baby Mika and Michelle. Like I have Samoan cousins, and so they need to be at the bloodline table. Absolutely.
And I have 3 brothers, and we're all big wrestling fans. And our table is going to be the 4 Horsemen because we've always called each other the 4 Horsemen.
But those are the head tables. They don't.
Well,
they won't have factions.
No, it's going to be the 4 Horsemen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay.
Did not submit that request.
I know, right? I'm like,
Submitted in triplicate.
Yeah, we still like the way that the banquet hall is set up is a little weird, and so like we still have to kind of figure out where the head table is going to be. But I still think it's going to be in the same spot, but we have to kind of figure out how tables are going to go. But anyways, that's just weird wedding stuff, all those weird details.
They're
Yeah,
fun though. Weddings are fun.
weddings are fun.
To go to, I don't know about planning.
Well, it's really
wedding
funny because
fun.
I am like, mostly because of working in theater, like I already have a drive and there's folders and it's like, this is for the venue, this is for the decorations, this is for, and like, here's the guest list. It's on an Excel spreadsheet, like, so we can update it whenever we need to, our budget's on there, like, and he's like, I just want to write it down on a piece of paper.
I'm old school. I write everything down on paper.
So I got him one of those wedding planner books.
I've pretty much, so what I was saying was that my mother-in-law would love you because for me, I do have things on like spreadsheets and stuff like that. But I am a little bit like avoidant and in denial that this is happening. But for the most part, I've been the one like making most of the decisions and doing this and doing that. And so we're coming to the end. And I told Philippe, I was like, you're in charge of the seating chart.
I don't want to deal with it. Yeah.
I said, okay.
And then he goes, well, can you print out the list for me? And I kept forgetting to print it out at work, but I just wrote it out for him and gave it to him. And like, good luck with that. Cause I'm not doing
I'm
it.
dreading getting all of the addresses. Like we just got our save the dates in too. Do you want to go grab it? I think they're like, I think they're sitting on the little floor, but yeah, we just got to save the dates and we went with magnets. We weren't even going to do save the dates, but then we decided to splurge.
I think save the dates. I did them. And I think that, it sounds like you had most of the details. When I sent my save the dates, I had no details. I had no idea what time this thing was going to start, or anything, but I think
here's our save the date.
Cute.
Yeah. It's a little magnet. Yeah. Well, and what cracks me up is that like within seconds of getting engaged, people are like, what day? What's the day? Where are you having, and I was like, okay, literally just put a ring on it. So like, we don't have a day, like, and then people would keep asking. I was like, the day is going to be based on the venue. It's not like I can be like, I want to be married on July 7th. Like, that's not how it works. Like, you have to like get a venue and then you have to figure out when the venue is available. And then, like
we will be married on this day.
It's not a thing. Unless you are a millionaire and you can be like, I'm going to be married on this date and then I'm going to book out this place. Sure. But I'm not that. So we are not that.
Do you know of the Brazil Room in Tilden? Are you familiar? It's in Tilden, right above Berkeley. It's a regional park in Tilden.
Yeah.
I know Tilden Park, but I don't know the Brazil Room.
So the Brazil Room is like this fancy schmancy like wedding, it's like a reception hall. So the first place that him and I went and looked at was not the Brazil Room. We went and looked at the Port Costa Schoolhouse.
Okay.
It's just funny. It's this 100-year-old schoolhouse in Port Costa. Most people don't even know where Port Costa is, but it's near Crockett. And so
I know where my friend lives in Crockett, so I know where Port Costa is. It's beautiful there. That little like alley of shopping and stuff. That's like right. It's really nice.
Yeah. So I was like, that was my first place. So we went and looked at it and it was just going to be way too much work. And so we decided not to go there. So we went somewhere else. But the guy who showed it to us, he used to manage the Brazil Room. And he said that he's like on the board for the restoration or whatever. Anyways, he said when he used to manage it, there were people that would book it and like what do you say? He said that they would book it and like that relationship didn't work out and they would keep the date because they would find somebody else to get married to on that day so they could have the Brazil Room.
That makes me think of that movie Bride Wars, where it's like if you get the plaza in June, like you're not giving that date up because it's hard to get the plaza in June, like it's ridiculous. It's so silly. But I'm excited to bring all of our little geekness into it, though. Like I found on Pinterest a bouquet. So we're doing the like boutonnieres with the comic book petals, and like I'm gonna have a few within my bouquet, and the girls will have a few within their bouquet with the comic book petals. My mom and I are gonna make them because my mom's really creative too, and so like she's like, I'll help with decorations, like, and I have a Cricut so it can cut the petals and all that stuff. But I found a bouquet reference photo where it's a saber is the handle. And it was spray painted white though. So it's kind of like it's like there, but it's that geek chic. It's like just hints, thrown in and stuff. So yeah. And when I was at Celebration, I actually bought Rebel diamonds, not diamond, but like cubic zirconia or whatever studs from, I don't think it was the fine jewelry place. I think it was the other like girls, like there was 2 jewelry places at Celebration on the floor, showroom floor. And yeah, they're just really cute. But they're the Rebel Alliance in little, studs, and that'll be what I'll wear for my earrings. So, and like for my bachelorette party, we're going to Florida, and I'm going to drink around the world because I've always wanted to do that. That's like a bucket list for me. So, yeah. In fact, like the first time I rode Rise of the Resistance was actually in Disney World because Disneyland was still closed, and I ended up, a friend of mine who I used to work with at the parks, who used to work hotels, was in the Disney Vacation Club and was like, thank you, Eric. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
She was like, I have Disney vacation points that I'm not going to use, because she was a little bit more paranoid about the pandemic. So she was literally giving up her vacation points and was like, if anyone wants them. And so I texted his best friend, who's also a big Disney nerd, and was like, so you want to go to Florida? And we did. And we stayed in a very luxury space that I would never normally be able to afford. And we got on Rise, but it was stressful AF trying to get like, because it was when you had to like ding, 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 like scroll down, ding, 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 ding to like get the space. But yeah.
Yeah, James
bought it off a Joe's parking lot for half price. You're not wrong. But yeah, so many good times. I'm excited for my bachelorette party in Disney World. Yeah, I think it's perfect for me. We're going to call it the last splash because I'm a big Ariel mermaid person. And so, yeah.
I'm doing mine in LA WrestleMania weekend.
Nice. So, we're both keeping it within the theme.
Mine's on a Monday in Napa.
Oh, you know what? That's also fabulous. I was just up in Napa at Imagery and Benzinger. Okay. Yeah. If you haven't done those two, have you done either one of those?
Which one is it?
Benzinger and Imagery?
Maybe the first one. I think I might have done.
If you do Benzinger, do their tour. It's really amazing, and it's only $50, and it includes a tasting. And then their sister winery. So they used to do it where, like, if you did the Benzinger tour, you got a free tasting at Imagery as well, and they're just down the street from each other.
Okay.
But Imagery is really cool because all of their labels are done by artists, and each run, like, so each time there's a new batch, there's a new, like, it's not a stapled logo, right? Like the requirement to the artist is that they have to fit in the Parthenon in it because that's their like actual logo. But other than that, they can paint whatever they want. It just has to have the Parthenon in it.
Cool. That's really
yeah. We have Jawas in Empire Strips Back. So I know I kind of want Andrea and Tim to come out and see the show. Oh, Teeny!
Oh, James is instigating. He said, thank you for inviting all of us to your wedding.
I will happily sit at Spirit Squad table and just get free Funko Pop.
We're invited, but we have to sit at the Spirit Squad table, though. So just...
yeah.
We will create a Spirit Squad table just for you.
Just for this.
on my
your dad's table. I'm just kidding. Oh,
and if we are going to be at the Spirit Squad table, I'm just throwing this out there now. I'm Dolph Ziggler. Okay.
I was gonna say you have to be Dolph or Nikki.
On our RSVPs, I put a funny on there. I put, please RSVP by June 20th. If you don't RSVP by June 20th, please bring a chair and a sandwich. Bring a chair and a sandwich.
So good. I know. I was tinkering with, so we did the website with Zola, but I haven't finished it yet. And I think I want to put like, and now for the main event, right? Like, I think that's like, that's the tagline, right? Like,
and I want to have my belt on me and everything.
He wants to get us tag team belts for when we enter.
Oh, that's cute.
You guys,
I have my
like,
Attitude
legit-
Era belt and everything, but I want tag team belts.
Oh yeah, go get your belts.
do you guys want like legit straps?
Well, we have legit belt. Well, he has 2 legit belts.
I was gonna say there's a company that we deal with called West Coast Design, and they do like legitimate like
We know a guy.
titles.
That's what James said.
Yeah, they do like legitimate titles, and
like replica titles. Yeah, he's
they're,
got.
they're like full metal and they're like super heavy.
Yep,
and they're,
that's
like,
these ones. Yeah, it's like they're
Yeah.
very heavy.
I have the Attitude one and I have the current.
That's the one that I know right there.
Yeah.
That's the only one right there.
oh, the original world title. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Attitude Era.
That's the only one. right
It's so heavy. When we went to WrestleMania, he bought the Eddie Guerrero belt that at that time, but he's like since then sold it. But he was walking through the airport in Florida, and people were like asking to take pictures with him. It was hysterical. I was like taking photos of that happening because I thought it was like,
You ain't cheating. You ain't trying.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I was really spoiled and we had a great time. And then the second night we weren't on the hard camera, but we were on the ramp. And so like, not the edge. When he came down, like when everyone came down, I was like right there, could see him sweat, you know, it was really cool. And then what match was it where I had a reaction like to a chair.
So Roman did the concerto to Edge, and they showed Bethany
I was in
like
a pack,
reacting, like legit reacting to it. And so the next pay-per-view, I think Money in the Bank, they did a video package and they legit showed her like reacting to it. Yeah. I was like, man, like the camera loves her. Like she's been to one wrestling show and she's like all over the place.
Yeah. Yep. I know, so like, his family probably hates me because like they've been going to matches and WrestleManias for years of like never gotten on camera, and I was like, I'm in a video package, like don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, I have that soundbite.
What? Oh,
You don't hear Steve going what?
what? Yeah. Oh, John Cena, you can't see me.
What other ones I have?
Thanks for watching.
I was gonna say you did if you smelled Jack's cooking the other day. Yeah.
What the rock?
And then
Oh yeah!
Macho Man.
Oh my gosh, so funny.
Oh man, Randy Savage.
I know, like I was in line.
Green rises to the top. Yeah.
So good. I was in line at Celebration, and somehow I don't even remember how wrestling came up, but it came up, and then I was like talking to people, and I was like, how am I having these full-blown conversations about WWE right now? Like I did 2 years ago, I wouldn't have known. Like I know who The Rock is, you know, I knew who John Cena was, but like that's because they went into acting, and so they were like on my side.
Did you tell them who your favorite is and how you picked them?
Okay, so
we
started
started turn into a wrestling conversation.
We've gone.
It's just what happens.
This is like the multiverse of distance nerding. Tonight.
I know.
Right, we've done Disney, Star Wars. We're now on WWE. Like we could do Marvel if you guys want. Like we can keep going. So we started dating, and COVID hit. So the first WrestleMania we were gonna do was the one where it was like the 2 nights. It's so big, it's gotta be 2 nights because it was like all filmed and there was no audience and everything. And he's like, well, you have to pick a wrestler, and so like. I've watched a few matches at this point, kind of gotten to know some of the wrestlers, and I ended up picking McIntyre because I was like, he's a tall, burly Scottish man, and bagpipes is his entrance, and he carries a claymore. Like, I can be into that because I had just gone to Scotland too, so I was very like in my blood, and I am Scottish, but ignoring your children. This conversation is amazing. You're welcome. Sorry, kids. So I picked McIntyre, and then McIntyre wins WrestleMania. And I was like, I think I've done okay. I think I know how to pick them.
You have a track record of picking winners.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
He lost that WrestleMania.
Whatever.
Well, the
don't talk about
WrestleMania, the COVID WrestleMania, he won against Brock.
Yeah,
but
and then he
he
lost
lost
it.
the one we went to.
Yeah. And then he teases me because he doesn't like that I like that he has chest hair. And so he's like, oh, mid-card McIntyre.
He was mid-card for a while, so I call him mid-card McIntyre.
Yeah, I mean he was mid-card for the longest time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It took him leaving the WWE and coming back to become a star.
Yeah, getting all buff and
I still, when
and
he shows
everything,
me
and-
those older matches when he's like blonde, like I'm still like, that can't be the same.
I went to WrestleMania 26 in Arizona back in 2010, and I was watching it during WrestleMania season, and I was like, hey baby, like come in here, look. I was like, guess who that is? I was like, that's Drew McIntyre. Like look at him, like he's scrawny and
yeah. But I mean, like also like you think back to like stuttering Steve Austin back when he had long blonde hair.
He had long hair, yeah.
What I don't even know what that's all about. I saw that, I was like, that's not him.
He was watching some match today, and I walk in the bedroom, and it was Shawn Michaels, and I listen. Okay, I am a costume
like
person.
old school Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I was watching like '96 SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm a costume person. What do I look at? I look at what they're wearing, and I keep telling him to get me a job. I'll put sparkles on some spanky doos like all day long. The Miz puts more sparkles on his stuff than I do, and that's saying a lot. But I saw this Shawn Michaels get up today, and I was like, what is happening? It was like zebra print.
Oh yeah.
And there was a lot of things going on and layers and moments and cutouts. And I was like, but I could tell that it was Shawn Michaels because apparently I know who that is now. And I was just disturbed, really. Like,
yeah,
I was like,
BK when he was part of Rock and Roll Express, like that, you know, like he was big, burly, and he was covered in chest hair, and like you could tell he was roiding at that time, right? Because he was just like really big, like he was bigger than he should have been.
Yeah.
But he him and Marty Jannetty, like, you know, them together, and then when he got off the roids and he got like smaller but more like ripped, is like the Shawn Michaels everybody knows.
Yep.
Yeah. That's just funny. I seriously, I would kill to work for them. I know how to make.
You might get a chance now with the way that they're running the business.
Yeah. I keep telling him, I was like, get me a job with WWE. I'll do that. I'll spadarkle, you know, chonies all day long. I have zero problems doing that.
You appreciate this. We approached Freddie Prinze Jr. about coming on the show. He declined. He declined because Star Wars. Because he will not go on podcasts that talk Star Wars now.
Whoa.
Why?
He had
somebody
such a bad experience.
Oh no! Did they do the like Rose? What happened with
Yeah, like
that's so sad.
People just kind of like, you know, like
games. You pay me, I'll make them. Sorry, I'm just like commenting on his little like. I hate that's the part of the fandom that drives me bonkers.
Yeah,
like
and that's
I've been gatekeeped.
You try to get away from, you know.
Yeah, I've been gatekeeped, and it's stupid. Like when I was in grad school, one of my cohorts was like, "Oh, you haven't loved Star Wars your whole life. Well, that you're not really a fan." And I was like, "Why does that matter?" First of all, like I actually have loved it since a child. I just wasn't as hardcore into it until adulthood. But it shouldn't matter. And then he got me for Christmas 2 years ago. I don't know. It's the best Christmas present I've ever gotten. Last year I got this bad boy. There we go. Is that good for the camera? And it says a woman built the rebellion. And when I posted it, I had like my friend's husband get on and be like, there were men too. And I was like, you're clearly like missing the point.
Yeah, dude.
But okay.
Can you show us one more time? I didn't do this right. Can you show us your tattoo?
Oh yeah.
I was trying to make it bigger and I accidentally made.
No, it's good. There we go. So it's pinup Leia. Remember, I said I have my like affinity for pinup. There's R2. I'm trying to curve lighting. There we go. So there's Leia, and she even has tattoos. So she has like Wicket, and it says Solo, and then she has the Rebel insignia, and then on her arm here it's a heart with Han, and then it says a woman built the rebellion, and I was totally like gatekeeped into being like, well, there were men involved, and I was like, yeah, that's not the point.
And like those are the like type of toxic nerds we try to avoid.
Yeah, and like the funny story is this is the only tattoo mess up I've ever had. It was supposed to say women, so it was supposed to be like Jen and Padme and like Ahsoka, like, you know, it's supposed to like kind of represent all of the women that have been really a part of the like good side and like the Rebel Alliance or oh my gosh, why am I blanking on the new Resistance? You know, like all of that. But we're like partway through the tattoo and I went to the bathroom and it was woman. And I was like, oh no. And so I just said, put an A, make it grammatically correct. And that's okay. Cause Leia's the OG. So like, you know, that's fine. You know, I'm okay supporting it, you know, but yeah.
Right.
I think we would all get along better if we all wore sparkly spanky doos for sure. I just still crack up. Like, I think Miz is the one that cracks me the most up because, like, he is way more sparkles than I ever walk out of in a normal day, and I love a good sparkle. Like, but that man is, and I love that it's like leather and tough, and then like ding 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 ding, you know, like the like combo.
The Miz, easily one of the best heels in existence, and it's like, yeah, he does that. Like, and I mean,
better than Kurt Angle.
I wouldn't say. I mean, Kurt Angle was a good heel.
Kurt Angle. I hate him. I hate him to this day.
Like, I wouldn't say that Kurt Angle was one of the best heels to ever do it because, like,
I see Kurt Angle now and I'm like, Kurt Angle, he just makes my blood boil.
Because the Miz is going to go into the Hall of Fame as one of the best heels because no matter what he does, he finds a way to make you hate him. And he does it on purpose.
Yeah. And I think that's part of that juxtaposition between the leather and the sparkles. Like that does, you know, when you juxtapose things, it can make people be like, wait, those don't belong together, or that, you know, so that just adds to his heel and that adds to like the story that's being told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut.
Yeah. When he has the like mic, I always think that's funny too, because he has like the WWE mic, but it's like the M.
Turns it upside down for the Miz.
Yeah. I was like, oh, he's like very arrogant, but you know, that's his character. So.
Yeah, like Mike, I love Mike Mizzanian because, like, I mean, what I love about his story is like his whole thing was, I want to be a wrestler. Everybody thought that he was a joke and that he would never be successful because he was a dude that was on the real world. And he goes and does it, and he is good at it.
Yep. And then now again is on a reality TV show, right? Because isn't there like
Miz and Maurice? Yeah, it's him and his wife.
See, I have these conversations, and I'm like, why do I know this? Why is this a thing? But I just do. But in the same breath, he watches Star Wars for me, right? Like, and he's like getting into the property a little bit. He's not like a super Star Wars fan, but like, you know, we'll watch the films. And like when May the 4th came up, he was like, we have to watch them, you know. And he really likes Babu Freak, which I like support because I love Babu Freak. But yeah, Babu Freak, like
Babu Freak.
Yeah. So it's been fun. Like, and like we came, like, I think it's fun because like we have our own geeky things, but then we have, you know, things that we come together on, and so it works out.
Fun nerd fact: we know who plays Babu Freak, right?
Who?
The girl who played Moaning Myrtle.
Oh, I see, and I'm like, I've only barely tapped the Harry Potter surface.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because being in theater, like when a lot of my friends are like, how do you not aren't obsessed with it and know all the things and blah, blah, blah. But I grew up in a very religious home. And so I wasn't allowed to read it. And then by the time I was 18 and could make that choice, there was like 3 books and a movie. And I was like, this is a kid's series, you know? So I never got into it. And then working in theater, so many of my friends were like, you'd really like it. So I finally like audiobooked them. And I've seen the first film, and but the funny thing is, like, I went to Hogwarts before I'd even audiobooked the books. Like, I drank butterbeer before I even knew, you know, I knew what it was because of pop culture, but like, I didn't. Yeah.
Harry Potter is one of those things where it starts off like a kid thing and then just gets progressively darker.
Yeah, absolutely. As I was audiobooking, like, I see why people are like, you should do it. You'd really like it, you know, but yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah. Because
good times.
It gets really dark. Like, people die. A lot of people die.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of, I mean, Star Wars too, though. Like,
yeah.
That's the
12 minutes. Okay.
Oh,
I wasn't cutting you off. I was just
you're being a stage manager. Thank you. 12 minutes. I appreciate it.
He is being a stage manager.
Because we'll talk all night.
Honestly, it's easy to do.
I'll just keep building, you know.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, you've gotten pretty far. Do you do the whole build on the show, or is it like you get as much done as you can in the hour?
As much as I can get in 2 hours.
It kind of depends on the thing. He built what is it? Luke's helmet in one sitting. He actually had to start the next one.
Or no, I finished Luke's helmet, and then I did after that I did Din Djarin's helmet. That was last week.
Oh, nice.
And I managed to finish Din Djarin's helmet and finish Luke's Red 5 helmet on the same episode.
Nice. Hello, Amy. I see your wave.
How's it going, Amy?
Amy
fun
Rivas.
hat. Is that like, is the hat light up? Like, what is that? That's really interesting. Yeah.
Amy Rivas' hat in her profile.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
She has
No, Philippe was asking about the hat. I said it's she's asking about Amy Rivas' hat in her.
Oh, Amy Rivas. Oh, I thought you said Grievous. That's why I was like, wait, what?
I kind of have a speech impediment.
No.
Not a speech impediment, but I have a hearing thing where like certain sounds are kind of, I don't hear them correctly.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Hello there.
I have a root. Oh, okay. So at Celebration, sitting even in the streaming room, you felt it. And like when he finally said it, we obviously all lost our marbles. And I think the best part about opening though was when John Williams played, and then Harrison came out, and then we really did lose our marbles, like 1,000% lost our marbles. And then I'm going to answer James's question, and then I want to tell a Mando panel story. But I am working on Empire Strikes Back right now, and Elephant and Piggy, which is a children's show. So like very exact opposites. I'm working a burlesque show and a children's show. And then I just helped Great America open up their Carnival parade. It's my first time kind of delving into theme parks as far as costumes go, and that was really fun. But Mando panel.
When you were talking about roller coasters earlier, I was going to say my very first roller coaster I ever went on was the Demon at Great America.
Oh, and I literally the last time I went to Great America, I was like 12. So many years ago, over 20. Yep. And I didn't ride roller coasters at the time. So like I haven't ridden any of those things. But now, because I did the show, I have like comps. So like I have a friend who wants to go, and we're going to go and ride the rides. And yeah.
You got to do it before they close. It kind of sucks that they're going to be closing soon.
I mean, it's going to take 10 years. They're not like leaving tomorrow, but yeah. And guys, I've been backstage there, and I have been backstage at Disney, and like backstage of Disney isn't gorgeous, right? Because it's backstage, but Great America is bleak. Like it's sad. No one takes care of it. It feels like there's a grand attitude of like, it's not my job. And so there's just stuff everywhere, and like, you know, it's not pretty. And like as a Disney person, I was having a hard time too, because like guests see it, because like the rides go over the backstage, and like it was a whole thing. And I even had to talk to like the parade performers, because they were like walking on stage like half dressed with a hoodie, and I was like, no, like I'm sorry, I was like, maybe Great America's okay with that, but like we're trying to bring you guys to a more professional level, and like that would not fly at Disney, you know.
When I was younger, Great America was like, you know, the shit, and it was fun, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't been in years, and I've heard
it's just sad. It's like, and I've been to like once you work at Disney and then you go to other theme parks, it's like hard not to see how sad it is. You know what I mean? Like
it started going downhill when Paramount got rid, like you know, wasn't the owner anymore.
Yeah, I guess that was the downfall for the Great Americas. Okay, so my Mando panel story that I think is funny, but maybe I don't know if other people will. But so like, you know, Dave Filoni and Favreau come out, right? And obviously we're all like crazy and excited and stuff. And then Pedro Pascal comes out, and then the two stunt guys come out, and like they just keep like, you know, all the people, and it's freaking amazing. And then towards the end of the panel, they brought out Grogu. So they brought the puppet out, right? Like, and they had him over by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. And John was like, hey guys, get up. Let's take a picture with all of his daddies. And I was like, oh my God, I can't. And so it was like Pedro and the two stunt guys. And then, but like when he was like his daddies, I was like, that has more meanings than what you're saying. But yeah.
Daddy. Okay. Daddy.
Guys, like that just like, I was like, giggling hard on that one.
With Favreau's sense of humor, he knew what he was saying.
Oh, right. I was like, this man knew what he was doing when he said that. My friends and I that day, we all Disney bounded. So I Disney bounded as the armor. My friend was Mando, and then his fiance was Fennec. So it was fun. Like, yeah, we had a good time. Although, like the armor, like I took that off and changed into Disney bounding Luke later, because I was like, no, it's like pleather, and I don't know how the women who are fully in the cosplay do it. It's hot and sweaty.
I mean,
Like I work with Chewbacca right now, and I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can tell you, doing my Deadpool cosplay, I can only do that for so long because mostly because I cosplay as Deadpool cosplaying as other things.
Yeah, unicorn. You have Unipool, and yeah.
Mostly Unipool, right? It's mostly him cosplaying as a unicorn. And I mean that unicorn onesie that I wear is hot as shit.
You need to put power mesh in the crotch and the pits because that's where you would breathe from. So like I just did a children's show, Llama Llama Red Pajama, and there's like llamas and dinosaurs and robots. And like that's what I had to do because they're going on tour. They're doing it in an outdoor amphitheater and it's gonna be August, so everything that anywhere I could hide it, I would just do power mesh where the body exudes the heat, which is like your pits, your crotch, your head, because that's the only way to kind of really combat that and to not have an actor pass out because they're wearing llama fur on stage or a dinosaur onesie on stage.
I'm covered in sweat by the end of that show.
For sure. And I would also suggest getting the wick sweating undershirts.
Oh yeah, no, I wear moisture, like everything I wear under it is moisture wicking.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. That's because we do that with Chewy. Chewy, that's also like, how we help with him because it's hairy.
Yeah.
So,
That's also like, I'm also, when I'm wearing that, I'm like, still, that's when I take it off, it is just like a ball. It's like a wet towel.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I did Conan Con. So I got to work wardrobe for Conan Con. It was, besides Empire Strips Back, that previously would have probably been my favorite gig. And like, I was like pinching myself that I was like working with Chewbacca. I had to zhuzh Chewbacca's hair before he went on camera. And I did a quick change on stage during that one. But like we had Black Panther, we had Blade, we had, Jason Momoa was literally behind a piece of fabric. It was like me and a piece of fabric. Actually, I was in the same room as him, but I was like trying not to be like annoying. And so when I had to go to the bathroom, I like went through the green room and I like put my head down to like, be respectful. And a kid ran into me. And then later I realized that was Jason Momoa's kid. I was like, does that mean that Lisa Bonet and Jason Momoa have now touched me? Because like this kid me? Like
James has met Jason Momoa. And the multiple times that we've had run-ins with Jason Momoa, he's like the coolest dude ever.
He looks like it, and I'm sure if I had actually spoken to him, he would have been perfectly groovy. But like Samuel L. Jackson was also in that green room, and Bruce Willis, and like it was insane to be working that gig. I had so much fun, like so much fun, and like I would love getting the call sheet in the morning because it would be like the run of the day, and it was like Thanos butt jeans. I was like, okay, right, that's what I'm doing today. Thanos butt jeans. Okay, great. Yeah.
Oh, so like the small details with Unipool, because if you know the comics, then there's a lot of like small like comic book details. I wear Thanos shorts under the onesie.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I'm not gonna wear just underwear just in case somebody if they open the butt on the onesie or something like that.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, so I wear kids do whatever, or people they think they're funny and they're just gonna like run up and like open the butt on the onesie and think like, oh yeah, I'm just wearing underwear under this. So I wear Thanos shorts.
That's very smart.
Yeah, and it's like if you know the joke, especially in the comics, is Thanos, Deadpool, and Lady Death are in a love triangle.
Right.
Right. And Thanos put a curse on Deadpool for him to never be able to die. Right. So like the joke is that I'm wearing Thanos shorts under the onesie.
It's a great in joke. I love it.
Yeah.
Amy, do you know how to do wig prep? You said you're wearing a wig this weekend for cosplay, or for what? And what are you cosplaying as? I don't know if she can respond.
She can't. That's what I was checking. It looks like she's on Facebook. It'll probably just take her a minute to type it out.
Oh, okay. Well, if you don't know wig prep, I'm, in the industry, we do general, like we do 2 pin curls at your temples, 2 pin curls down here, pin curl in the center, the rest of it pin curl if you want, or braid it, wig cap, and then that way you have spots to anchor and the wig won't slide and do all the things that you don't want it to do.
I was gonna say Amy's in North Carolina, so.
Oh, nice. Oh, I wonder what con is happening out there. That
Yeah. So she's on here late. It is almost 11 o'clock over there right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
So Amy, we appreciate you.
Yeah, that's crazy. Good for you.
Oh, look, we got spammed. Did we get spammed?
I think that is spam. Look at that. Distance Nerding. It was on Twitch too. You're lucky today. Our team gives you a promo code for 10 viewers for a whole day. Come visit us. Viewers Pro, and we take you to the top of Olympus on Twitch.
Amy.
Wow.
That's more worth our while.
I know, right? Comey from Comey can't communicate. No, I don't know how.
Yeah, so with pin curls, like they're just pin curl is literally just like taking a section of hair and twisting it, and then you make it into like a circular, and then you take 2 bobby pins and you cross one this way, cross one that way, and you do 2 anchors at your temples, 2 anchors down here, 1 in the center, all of them having that cross bobby pin. The rest of your pin curls don't matter as much because they're not really where you're going to anchor the wig. Then you put your wig cap on, then you put the wig on, and then you pin into those anchors that you've created. And then that wig isn't going to go anywhere. It'll stay exactly where you want it.
Good to know, because one day I'm probably going to put a wig over my Deadpool mask just to do something stupid. So,
well, with the mask, though, you just have to find a way, like maybe with Velcro or something. Like, yeah. Unless your hair is... Unless it's just this and then your hair is exposed. And with men, it's different because men don't have long enough hair for pin curls. So typically we use an ace bandage, and that seems to like kind of give that grip that's needed. Oh, GalaxyCon. I've never heard of it.
GalaxyCon's actually pretty big. I know they've been announcing all week because we follow their network. And they've been announcing guests for their network all week. It's been pretty cool.
The first time I ever cosplayed, I wonder if GalaxyCon was on Heroes of Cosplay, because I don't know if you guys watched the show, but I did. And the first time I ever cosplayed, I went as Emily from Corpse Bride, and it was a class project I had done in grad school. So like I did all of it. I had a bone leg, I had a bone arm, I had used a welding torch to burn the dress. I had made a wig that was with Fauché base and like yarn. It was really cool, and I was very proud of it. It was at Salt Lake Comic-Con, and I step out on the floor, and the first person I run into is Yaya Han, who was on Heroes of Cosplay.
No way.
Yeah. And she was Mrs. Fantastic, like Fantastic Four. And she asked to take a picture with me. And I was like, what? Like, okay.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah. And then she was like, so I have that somewhere in my land of things, and then she was like, have you ever cosplayed before? And I was like, no, actually, this is literally my first time ever doing it. And she was like super impressed. And then she was like, okay, here's some pointers. She's like, it's gonna be a long day, like take your time, pace yourself, like it's exhausting. She asked if I was gonna compete, and I was like, no, I hadn't really, like, I was only going to one day. I wasn't like planning on competing or anything like that. And I saw her like 4 hours later, and I was like, thank you. Cause like, and she's not wrong. Like, especially with that costume, like I would walk a foot and then 4 people wanted a photo. And then I'd walk another foot and then 4 more people wanted a photo. And even for their promotion video, Salt Lake Comic-Con did like a full pan up of me, like on their video. So it was a whole thing, but,
that's what encourages me to cosplay now, is because the first time I ever went to a con and cosplayed was LA Comic-Con this last year.
Oh, okay.
I debuted Unipool, and every 5 feet somebody stopped me to take a picture, and I was like, this is like such a cool feeling for people to see me and want to take pictures with me, right? And now I'm at the point where, you know, I'm used to it now, but now I'm very in character, and like I don't drop character when I'm in that costume, right? So
of course.
Time, like again, I already talk a lot as it is, so I'm like motor mouthing it the entire time, dropping sarcastic jokes and things like that, and saying like dumb sarcastic things. And when people go, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" I'll be like, "Do you want Japanese schoolgirl or Japanese tourist?" Right? And they'll go,
"Hey,
Japanese school tourist."
Yeah,
right? Japanese schoolgirl. Right? So I'll do like the whole, you know, that whole thing right there. But like in a Deadpool mask, it looks hilarious, right? So now what I'm excited for is, again, I got a movie quality Deadpool mask. So it's just like Ryan Reynolds' mask, where the eyes come off and you can put different expressions on.
Oh, that'll be fun.
So now I can put the happy eyes on and do that pose, and like it'll look a whole lot better. Yeah, and the whole thing is now I don't have to take the mask off if I get hot because all I have to do is just take the eyes off for a second.
Yep, and you can breathe. Yeah, you can regulate through that. That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah,
That's,
I mean,
that's
yeah, it was
does
crazy, and like I don't compete. I never have competed.
Mhm.
I was in grad school and we had someone come and do like a class with us, and she judged competitions.
Mhm.
And she said this to me, and I've just always believed it. And I don't know if it's true, but it was, if you work professionally in the industry, then you're not allowed to compete. And I think that's fair.
Yeah.
So, and the real honest to God truth is that I sew for a living and I don't make stuff for myself anymore. Like, I'm tired and I don't want to do it because I do it for everyone else. And like making Endor Leia was a big deal for me because I haven't made a cosplay for myself in a long time.
Right.
So it was kind of, it brought back those juices, and it was like, having celebration and having that like thing to be like, oh, I want to make it for this was exciting. And I went to a cosplay panel, and I, as in the costume, and like 501st, Rebel Legion, it was a whole panel of all of the Saber Guild. I don't think there was droid builders, but it was all of the costumed guilds.
Yeah.
They all were like, do you need to go over to the panel or to the booths that are all of our guilds and sign up?
Yeah.
But then I got over.
They want you in Rebel Alliance, especially if you're doing
yeah, and I got to Rebel Alliance though, and like the reason I like talked to some of the 501st afterwards, and they were really nice ladies from Idaho, and like I was like, yeah, the reason I've never really done it is because like it felt a little like exclusive, and like I don't know, like I just always kind of like, and they were like, you have to do so many events a year, and I don't know if I have, and they're like, no, like they made me feel better about it. So then I go over there, but then it was exactly what I was expecting. The two people that were at the Rebel Alliance were like, well, it has to be ultra suede, and it has to be like, and is it that? And I was like, oh God, okay, I don't like, I just want to have fun. Like I'm not here to have you overanalyze, this costume that I just want to make and have fun and wear, Hi, Nancy Joe.
Yeah. And I mean, I can relate on that. Like, so I at first for the longest time, I was like really interested in like, oh, I want to join Mandalorian Mercs. But
if I did one, I would do Mando Mercs because they're the only ones that allow creativity.
Yeah. And well, I've always said that if I join the 501st, my armor, I'd want to do ARC Trooper armor, because ARC Trooper armor is the only armor, is the only clone armor that you can get creative with, because ARC Troopers tend they had more creativity amongst the ranks, and it's because they nerd moment here. It's because their inhibitor chips were removed.
Oh, okay.
So that they could be yeah.
So they're like the Bad Batch.
Kind of like the idea was that they could kind of perform better in combat, and they tended to be officers. So like Echo 5's Commander Cody, they're all ARC Troopers. Right.
Yeah.
They're all part of the ARC Trooper Corps, right? So they have a little more like they look like kind of like that Vietnam.
Are they the ones where it's like they have like the spray painted decals and the thing, right? Yeah.
Those are
I admittingly hadn't seen any of the animated properties. And then because I was going to Celebration, I was like, I've always been kind of interested, like, and I had started like over a year ago. I was like, I'm going to watch Timeline, like all the way, including the animated properties, And so I had started, oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Clone Wars.
Yeah.
But then I was like, this property is for 10-year-old boys. Like I can't get into it. I am struggling so hard.
Yeah.
Obviously it gets better, right? Yeah. Like towards the end, but like I was.
Once you get to season 3 is when it drops like crazy.
Yeah. And I was like slugging through it. And then Celebration was coming. And I was like, okay, I have now a goal. And I was like, I will get through this. Yeah. And so I did all of it.
Yeah. Because season 3 got dark.
But I did Rebels. I did Bad Batch. I did all of it in order.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. There was one that was out of order though, because the article gave me the wrong thing and I was mad, but I was like, it's fine. I know the timeline enough to know where I'm at. But like, I try. So now I do understand the inhibitor. Like there are things where like, I probably wouldn't have got it before, but like, I'm not well versed, but like, at least I've seen it once and I know, like, and I actually started rewatching Bad Batch because I liked that one.
Yeah,
And I
that's
make troubles.
actually a lot better than people expected it to be. Like,
Yeah.
I'm excited for season 2.
Omega's adorable and amazing, and I just want
I'm
to follow
waiting
her
to
in all of
see
her
what
little
happens.
adventures.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see her and Boba interact because now Boba's going to realize he has a sister.
Yep.
So it's just kind of like where they go with that is going to be
Yep.
interesting. Now we are super over right now.
Oops, sorry.
No, not your fault, because if I wouldn't have looked down, I would have kept going too. So I'm having too much fun with this conversation. So so that being said, because we do have to kind of like start wrapping up and everything like that.
I just want to say bye real quick. I have to go run to PetSmart before they close so I can get a crate for this dog.
Yes.
Otherwise, I would normally totally hang out. It was so fun hanging out with you, but I do not want this dog to tear apart my door.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go get it a crate.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you finally. I think I'd like maybe in passing met you at 4th, but it was all very brief and quick. So
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. It's nice meeting you. Bye-bye.
All right, Jack. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, so essentially, before we let you go on here and everything like that, Bethany, where can everybody find you, or what are some projects you want to plug? Give me all your pluggables.
Yeah, absolutely. So Empire Strips Back. I will be running wardrobe and costume coordinator through the end of August at least. It's in the city at the I think it's Great Star Theater in Chinatown. And I'm really having a lot of fun with that. Elephant and Piggy is a kid show, so I'm not sure how many people like super into that, but that will be in September with Bay Area Children's Theater in Berkeley at the Osher Theater. And then I'm also going to be going back to Great America for Tricks and Treats and coordinating the costumes for that. So Great America. And you can find me on Instagram. I'm so boring and old, but my Instagram, I think it's BL Deal. My last name is Deal. I kind of like my designs by Deal as like kind of my, logo, or I don't know, but and on there has my website, but it's so not updated and I'm terrible at it. But yeah, and I'm very bad. I don't do like Twitter or Twitch or anything like that. But so basically Instagram is like the social media that I'm at. And I've never separated it, so it's not just a costume one, but there's definitely a lot of costume stuff in there. There's cosplay, there's Disney, there's, all kinds of stuff in my Instagram. Sometimes my cat, because, her name is Leia, so and
that
she's
is
a princess.
Awesome. Actually, funny enough, my sister's dog's name is Vader.
Yeah, I mean, and I named her that, and then she is absolutely a princess and bosses everyone around. I was like, okay, I literally did right by you, because your name fits you very well. So.
Oh, look at that. They're asking if you can come out to the Oregon show on October 8th.
What Oregon? What show?
So there's a con in Oregon that we're doing.
Oh.
Anna Medford, so it's mostly anime.
Oh, and see, and like I'm so bad with anime. Like I know Dragon Ball Z because that's what like everyone knows. And I used to watch My Neighbor Totoro as a kid, but that's like my extent of anime. Although I've heard Fruits Baskets is really good and I should watch it, but I haven't had a chance to.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good shows. Demon Slayer, actually, I just finished watching that.
Oh, I feel like my cousin, somebody I know, watches that like very regularly.
Mm-hmm.
I only know about a lot of it because one of my friends I used to work with at Disney does a geek podcast. And I used to listen to it religiously. And funny story with that, if I can or whatever, I don't know what the time is, but like I listen to it all the time. And like, when you listen to a podcast, like you think you know these people, like you start to like, be familiar with them. And so I knew Cole, but I started to believe that I knew Alex and JPG, even though like I had never really met them. And I reached out to them because I wanted to send Cole a surprise gift for the podcast, and ended up like just chatting with Alex on Facebook Messenger. And then within like 5 minutes, it was like, did we just become best friends? Because it was like, we're the same human. And so I have now gone and hung out with Alex and JPG, like in the park at Galaxy's Edge. We went to Oga's Cantina, and like we're now friends. Like, so it's really just funny that like it went from, listening to the podcast to like now they're some of my good friends. So.
Nice. Now, as far as we go, guys, of course, you are now watching The Build right now every Monday from 6 to 8 Pacific Standard Time, we do the build. And obviously, you guys are watching this right now. But also on Wednesdays, we have the download where we talk about nerdy news and rumors and reviews and suggestions and fun stuff. We do like stream suggestions every now and then and stuff like that. So guys, check us out. That's from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard till whenever we finish, because it depends on how much news, which this week we're going to be talking Comic-Con. A lot of news came out of that. So we're going to be talking a crap ton of Comic-Con. Nancy Joe, I appreciate the Phil. There's a story behind that. We'll have to tell that another day. But yeah, of course, guys, you can follow us at all the social medias that exist at Distance Nerding, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, if it exists. We are there at Distance Nerding. We have GeoCities, we've got a MySpace, we've got Friendster, OnlyFans, but it's just pictures of birds' feet. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope everybody had fun. But that is it for us tonight. It is now time for the dance party. Let us get this going. Yes.
I've got a few of these. Oh, and there's the Lego. Here, I could also get my new droid. Oh, I can't do it there again. Oh, and then the Funko Pop. Oh, I just opened it. Oh, I have a Deadpool here. We can keep going.
And you guys see me? I can see you out there. Stop playing with yourself. That's disgusting. I can see you. Your mother would be ashamed.
We'll go back to OG.
All right, guys. I'll see you next week.